And we all await their opponent in the NBA Finals, and it turns out we'll all be waiting for at least another 2 days. That's because Minnesota got 29 points from Anthony Edwards last night. They won in Dallas 105-100 to avoid being swept in the Western Conference Finals. Timberwolves are down 3-1. They'll host Game 5 tomorrow night. The Athletic is also reporting the current Golden State assistant and former Brooklyn head coach Kenny Atkinson is now the front runner for the head coaching job in Cleveland. The Patriots have signed their first-round draft pick and quarterback of the future Drake May to his rookie contract. It's a 4-year deal worth $36.6 million with a signing bonus of over $23 million. The Patriots will also reportedly hold one joint practice with Philadelphia in Foxborough Tuesday, August 13th. That's ahead of the exhibition game between the two teams at Gillette Stadium 2 days later. The NFL Network reports that the Players Union is putting together a proposal to end all OTAs and mandatory minicamps and instead report to team facilities in June for a longer run-up to training camp in the season. Sports Illustrated reports the teams are not fans of this proposal at all. Rafael Devers had 4 hits and 2 RBIs. The Red Sox won in Baltimore 8-3. The teams have split the first 2 games of this 3-game series. They wrap things up at Camden Yards tonight. And Florida got a power play goal from Sam Reinhart, 112 into overtime for a 3-2 home win over the Rangers. The NHL's Eastern Conference Finals are even at 2 games apiece. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by Valvoline Instant Oil Change. Enjoy quick and convenient vehicle maintenance this month. Visit NewEnglandOilChange.com for 15% off your drive-through oil change at Valvoline Instant Oil Change. Now open in Franklin, Billerica, and Peabody. I'm John Wallach at Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 6:30.
Boston's best sports talk. There's an app for that. Download the Sports Hub app for loads of stuff. Absolutely free. Connect with the shows, get podcasts, and more. Get it where you get your apps. Or at 98.5sportshub.com.
Fred, hello. Hello. Hello.
Mm-hmm.
Hello. 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 Hello.
He's naked. He has a sword.
Let's talk about cheese.
Bruins are back from the West Coast.
What the
Is it okay to use this for the radio?
Welcome to the show, you sweet bitch.
The 10-inch wheels keep everything moving along nicely. The 10-inch wheels keep everything moving along nicely. Oh, no.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
You caught me. Oh, boy.
Yeah.
That's the sound of a naked man in a trunk. Hiding out in his neighbor's trunk. Hey, good morning, everybody. Good morning. We are Toucher and Hardy, Town Fair Tire Studios, 617-779-0985. You can watch us on YouTube. Oh, Jesus. Watch us on YouTube. And hit the subscribe button. If you could do that for us, that would be fantastic. We're brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more with FanDuel. Johnny Wallgame was saying to himself, whose name is being bastardized. Now everyone's something game, ball game, da-da-da-da. Instead of just Donnie Baseball and Johnny Wallgame. Mm-hmm. These are the two originals. Johnny Wallgame was pointing out that the Rolling Stones are playing at Gillette Stadium, as you said, Thursday night?
Yes, tomorrow night. Kind of stuck up on me. Had no idea.
Now, you make fun, but you guys obviously don't listen to Eddie Trunk. Eddie Trunk
Yes.
had on the last week Tony Iommi, guitar player Black Sabbath. Yesterday had on Geezer Butler, original bassist Black Sabbath. What were they talking about? What do you think?
The Rolling Stones?
Talking about their new 4-CD box set, Anno Domini. And it celebrates the era 89 to 95. That is their era where who's the singer of the band? Huh?
Who? What?
You don't even have my microphone on.
So Black
jerk.
Sabbath, they have a box set with Ozzy Osbourne. Black Sabbath has a box set with Bronny James Dio.
Yeah.
But then, but Eddie Trunk's saying, what about the 89 to the 89 to 95
Those
era?
Very important years. Yes.
Who's the singer, fellas? Like, who's the singer? I mean, this is available. It's only $60 for 4 CDs. Who's the singer?
Oh, that's a good trivia question.
It's not a trivia question. It's rock and roll history.
I'll
give you a hint.
I don't know.
The albums include Headless Cross, TYR, Cross Purposes, plus the new version of Forbidden that Tony Iommi remixed specially for this collection.
It's Cross Purposes. That's a Tony Martin album.
That is amazing. That is a Tony Martin album, my friend.
Yeah. Some consider it to be his finest work.
Look at you.
You're
part of Trunk Nation. What's your favorite Sabotage album?
Hey, he's a colleague of mine. What do you want? Eddie and I, we get on Zooms together.
You were of the Tony Martin era? You were around back then, 1990, listening to Tony Martin albums?
I have a special affinity for people who take over in roles that were established by someone else. No, I have a certain affinity for people who are under-recognized for the greatness that they bring to the world.
And you think Tony Martin is in that?
Oh, God, yes. Third and fourth line forwards, second and third lead singers of rock outfits. Absolutely.
Well, because Forbidden was done by, started off that album as a thing they were going to do with Ice-T and his band Body Count, but then it turned out IRS Records made them hire the producer of Body Count, and he had the audacity to tell Cozy Powell to drum differently than he was actually drumming.
Uh-oh. I don't think you tell Cozy Powell how to play the drums differently.
So they heard the mix of the album, and they thought it was trash, but it was too late. So now, finally, in this new box set, we get the mix of Forbidden that we all deserve and love, and there you have it. Now, what does this have to do with the Rolling Stones?
I'm waiting for you to tie this together.
We're in a world, Jonathan, where the live music you hear is so often not live, much to the consternation of one Eddie Trunk. Eddie Trunk says this is all garbage. Don't get him started on this or the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame because he thinks it's a bunch of hogwash. He says, why all the African-American artists in the Hall of Fame is what he says. He says, this is the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Okay. Eddie Trunk does not say that.
He's saying it without saying it.
No.
Okay.
He's saying it without saying it.
I think he's saying what a lot of us say about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. It is not a Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. It is a Music Hall of Fame.
No. Carole King.
Yeah.
So anyway, the word is that the Rolling Stones entirely live, no backing tracks, entirely live, glorious mistakes and everything else. So for all the people that want to give them the business for screwing up or for being old and everything else under the sun, apparently they're out there playing 2.5 hour sets live, no backing,
which I guess people don't care about it anymore. Because you remember when Saturday Night Live, it used to be like such a thing that you had to do everything live.
Yes.
And then Ashley Simpson got in trouble. Obviously, she was doing it to a track. But you go back and you want, and now there's all kinds of stuff going on in Saturday Night Live performances where you hear all this music. And my wife and kids watch SNL every Sunday. Sit down and watch the recorded version. Oh boy, we're gonna watch SNL. And I'll walk into the room and I'm like, this is all BS. You hear those horns that are playing right now? Not only are there no horns up there, there's no keyboard player. It's all whatever. The vocals might be live or the drummer might actually be playing, but this is all BS.
You don't think it's the Saturday Night Live band playing behind them?
No, I do not.
Because you remember, have you ever seen...
I'll give you one more, Fred.
Yeah, go ahead.
Go back and as I have done after I read that Paul Simon biography, who apparently I loved listening to Simon and Garfunkel because My parents listened to it, and that concert in Central Park I thought was really good. That concert in Central Park double album, Art Garfunkel went back and recorded all of his vocals over again because he said he had a cold and he didn't like the way it sounded. So that's BS.
Yeah, he had a little bit of booger sugar flu.
Yeah, I'm sure Art Garfunkel was all coked up.
I mean,
coked to the gills when they recorded that.
You think you could sit on a stool for that long without it being on some kind of amphetamine?
Paul Simon, very self-righteous prick, and he talks about this wonderful moment when he brought Ladysmith Black Mambazo onto Saturday Night Live to perform Diamonds on the Soles of Her Shoes. And it was, the unveiling of Graceland, and really like a big album and an important album. I get all that. Go back and watch Ladysmith Black Mambazo performing Diamonds on the Soles of Her Shoes with Paul Simon. This is probably 1989. All recorded, all their vocals. It's all, and the biggest tip-off that's recorded, the song freaking fades out. They fade out as they're walking off the stage doing the ta-na-na-na-na, ta-na-na-na-na.
Right.
They're not mic'd up. They're all standing in a circle doing the thing. Simon's vocals are live. I think most of the music, and absolutely Ladysmith Black Mambazo on a tape. And this is 35 years ago, 45 years ago. So SNL can absolutely take their holier than thou, we only have live artists on there and stick it, because they let Paul Simon, the golden child, went out there and did the very, very funny rendition of he dressed up in the chicken suit. Fred, you're an SNL historian. Did the still crazy after all these years.
Yeah, I'll tell you.
Oh my God, it was so funny.
I'm having a hard time believing that there was backing tracks, because I'll always just think of Paul Simon and Chevy Chase in the You Can Call Me Al, where Chevy Chase was taking the saxophone and playing it, and they just went, "Hey, you two vamp."
Well, you don't understand comedy. That's always
your
that's Achilles
obvious.
heel.
Well,
you just
obviously.
don't get it.
Speaking of which, did you read the internet yesterday?
Yeah, people think you're a real hoot.
No, they don't.
You got your finger on the pulse, my friend.
No, they don't. If you didn't hear, there was a call requesting to play a audio from 14 years ago, or more maybe. 14 years ago, 2010, 2011?
2010, yeah.
When the Celtics lost to the Lakers in the NBA Finals, and Bill Walton came on, and his son was on the Lakers team, and I hung up on him. There was a call about that, and Bill Walton had passed away over the weekend, and in leading into the call, I saw yesterday there was all these like wonderful memoriams of Bill Walton. Everyone loves him, and he's the greatest. And then there's one a-hole that said something that wasn't nice, and that was me. So that was poor timing. Apparently everyone loves Bill Walton. Poor timing. So there you go. Probably shouldn't have said it. Not at that day. All right, what's coming up, Hardy? What's coming up?
It was nice, Fred. Timberwolves and Mavericks played last night. Is it all over? Do we have our NBA Finals set? We'll find out. And it's not a pizza place in Easton. It's a Red Sox pitcher who did something last night.
This has been much consternation behind the scenes.
Freaking Mike Lockhart drops this guy's name in our pre-show meeting this morning. I'm like, am I supposed to know who the hell you're talking about? Well, we'll talk about that, too.
All right, so we'll have that for you in just a moment.
Stay tuned for more Toucher and Hardy on the Sports Hub. Hardy on the Sports Hub.
Did you catch a game last night?
Hey, we are Toucher and Hardy. What happened last night is brought to you by Jack Pocket. Download the app now and use code HUB to get your first lottery ticket free. What's going on?
It was game 4 last night between the Dallas Mavericks, who were at home to take on the Minnesota Timberwolves. Dallas Mavericks up 3-0 in the best of 7 after taking the first 2 games there in Minnesota, and then game 1 of 2 back in Dallas. So would they close things out last night? Would Kyrie Irving and Luka Doncic be able to join the Celtics in the NBA Finals?
Oh, no.
That is your answer. That's just a little spoiler alert. As it was a tight game, tied at halftime. I believe it was a straight-up tie at the half, wasn't it, last night, Wallach?
Yes.
49-51.
49, yes.
There you go. That's when I tapped out. But the T-Wolves didn't tap out.
Being aggressive. There ain't no time to have any doubts in your mind, especially at this time. It's game 4. We down 3-0. There ain't no time to have any doubts. I'm going to go out there, be aggressive, shoot my shot like I've been doing all series, and be confident in every shot I shoot.
That is Mr. K.A.T., Karl Anthony Towns.
Who has been absolutely atrocious in this series. He was horrible from 3. He was
horrible from 3, you say?
To the elbow, goes to the opposite corner. Cat got time, fires the 3, and drains it again. 3 for 3 from long range for Karl Anthony Towns.
Oh.
5 with 5 minutes left to go in the fourth quarter.
He's
You know the
taking
kids
his
say?
last breath, that guy.
Pwned. You got owned with the P at the beginning of it, which used to be a thing that I never understood.
Yeah, he has been absolutely terrible. He was a big reason why this team has struggled so much in these Western Conference Finals. He finally got going a little bit last night. But if I must tell you this, in his last 10 games, he's shooting 20% from three-point range, which doesn't even tell the story because it's got to be less than that. I'll tell you this. How about will you let me tell you something, sir? Would you let me tell you something? Let me tell you something.
He's got his satin jacket on. He's a basketball boy. There you go.
Okay. Game 2, shot 20% from 3. Game 3, shot 0% from 3. 27% from the field. In Game 2, 25% from the field. P.U.
Had a really good game last night, though.
Yeah,
Battling foul trouble. He had 5 fouls midway through the third quarter and finished with 25 points.
This team goes as Karl Anthony Towns goes, which has got to be a very, very frustrating thing if you are a fan of the Minnesota Timberwolves, because Karl Anthony Towns is an incredibly gifted athlete, but unfortunately not the world's greatest basketball player.
Well, there was a shot made late. It was a 3-point game, about 40 seconds left, and a shot that doesn't get taken a whole lot in the NBA anymore.
And with a left-handed dribble, now with 3. He'll pull up. It's a deep 2, and he drains it. A right side 21-footer for Anthony Edwards puts the Wolves up 2 possessions with 38.8 seconds left. How big was that shot?
That was big. That was big because, A, like I said, no one takes long 2s anymore. And number 2, that made it a 2-possession game, and that would end up being your final there, 105-100.
Luka Doncic.
Or close to it's the same margin, I should say. It was a 5-point margin there, and that would remain for the rest of the game. Go ahead, Walt.
Assuming Dallas wins this series, which they should, I had forgotten how much of a complainer Luka Doncic is. He complains 100% of the time he's on the court. If he gets touched, if he misses a shot, people who don't like Jason Tatum will say he always throws up his arms. He's always complaining. Doncic is whatever you think Tatum is times 10. Doncic led the league in technical fouls this year. I think he's been in the top 3 each of the last 3 years. Just wait till Dallas comes here and he starts playing. You think Kyrie upsets you? Wait until Luka starts complaining about everything.
Yeah, and he complains in refs' faces during every.
And there's no repercussions. I mean, put it this way: he did lead the league in technical fouls, but they tee him up 1 out of every 20 times he complains.
Any stoppage of play, he's in the ref's face.
He's like Draymond Green a lot in that way. Sorry, I don't mean to tread on your hero, but Draymond complains a lot. Refs don't. I would like
to get awful announcing. Did you hear what John just did? This is hostile.
Yeah.
But I will. But Draymond, there's always that threat of violence, which makes it kind of. And I'm not just saying that. It makes it kind of like dangerous and like cool. Like something might snap. Doncic is just straight up bitching. He's just
bitching, and he's kind of like that bored, bitchy attitude. Like he doesn't even want to be out there. His body language. Everything about it. In the post game, he was Polly Pissy Pants in the post game too. When they asked him, it's like, "What's the mindset?" And now that you have to go back, it's like mindset. We've got to win 4 games. We've got to win another game. And what do you mean mindset?
He's got terrible tattoos too. I mean, that whole arm situation from the elbow down. I always think his arm is like hairy, but it turns out that it's. I'm like, why has he got one hairy arm? And then it's like, oh, he's just got bad tattoos.
Well, what about his teammate last night, Kyrie Irving, the changed man? He's totally different now. You know, he's self-effacing and self-deprecating, and he's not taking himself as seriously.
Yeah, it's really all the black Israelites have done this. They all went to improv camp and came out with a different message.
Okay, you know what? You keep this up, Fred, and you're going to end up having to do a non-apology to the black Israelites tomorrow.
Oh, how dare you.
Don't do that.
How dare you.
I started off, in particular, the game with a few turnovers, and, if I'm setting an example like that, then other guys are going to follow suit, unfortunately, at times.
Oh, if I turn the ball over, everyone else is going to turn the ball over, too? This guy hasn't changed.
And, it just leads to just that lackadaisical play. So that's on me, taking accountability. I got to start off the game a lot better. And
how about I sucked? But he manages to throw everybody under the bus.
I affected everybody.
Listen to that.
Everybody follows my lead. Everybody. And if I had made my first 2 shots, we would have shot perfect for the entire night.
I started off, in particular, the game with a few turnovers, and, if I'm setting an example like that, then other guys are going to follow suit.
Yeah, that's right. Just because basketball is a video game. That's if you don't turn the ball over, nobody else will turn the ball over the entire night because you affect everybody.
Did you see that Perkins wants to rescind his vote for Gobert as Defensive Player of the Year and says he will not vote again? In response to the way that Gobert has played in the series, he says that he is rescinding his vote for Rudy Gobert, and that he not only that, but he will no longer vote again, which is the ultimate sacrifice. Can you imagine the power of voting for Defensive Player of the Year and then just going, I don't even want it anymore, give it to
you
someone
shouldn't
else?
say it unless you're truly prepared to do it. That's the nuclear option.
Yeah, I hope.
Don't say it out loud unless you're willing to will it into existence.
There are thousands of writers knocking each other over for that privilege.
And I wonder at what point they're going to make him go into a studio. That's also another thing.
Perk has his own deal that nobody else in media has.
Except for Perlman. Perlman have the same thing. I don't understand why they don't have to go into the station.
Perk never leaves Texas. He's just there.
No, and at least make him go into a studio in Texas.
It's remarkable.
I mean, there are studios around Boston that you can go to and do ESPN hits. They should make him do that. There's something... There really is something to me that is, I understand like once in a while, or like if you're getting someone, we have guests on Zoom. I mean, that's great. But if you're doing like national television, this is supposed to be the big time. It's, 7 o'clock at night and it's 3 guys in a studio and then Kendrick Perkins in his kitchen. There is something a little low grade about that. I do think that it's not, it just shows like, this is like a JV product. You can't get it together to have everyone into the studio.
They can, but they still feel they've got license to do it that way due to COVID. Like, we did it for long enough, and people still watched. And I guess people are still watching now. Like, good enough. It doesn't have to look good or sound good.
People aren't watching most of those shows nearly like they used to. So,
But there's so many of them. I always wonder about that. It's like, oh, the ratings were down for this, the ratings were down for that. Just the sheer number of options that people have now.
Yeah.
That mathematically they would have to go down.
well, sure. Yeah, absolutely.
What else did Kyrie say after the game last night?
Starting off the game, we just weren't in a great rhythm as of yet. We picked it up in the second half a little bit more. But, yeah, just a few costly turnovers and some miscommunications on the defensive end during some crucial times in the game. Felt like that was the difference tonight.
You were tied at the half.
Mm.
I understand why. You got outscored by 7 in the first. Okay. I think the lead was 10 or 12 at one point. It looked like Timberwolves. But haven't we seen enough NBA games in our lives to know that it doesn't mean anything? If a team goes up 12, 14,
Sure.
18 points in the first half,
What's interesting about this is, I believe with the 5-point win yesterday, the difference in this series is 8 points in the 4 games. Total. The difference in this series is 8 points. If you add up, I think Dallas had won by a total of 13 going into this game, and then if you take away the 5 Minnesota had, this is a very close series.
Yep.
Minnesota could make this interesting.
Yeah.
There is that possibility that Minnesota can make this interesting. I thought about it yesterday. Now, no teams come back, obviously, from 0-3. But I was thinking about it yesterday when everyone, ourselves included, everyone was just saying the Celtics are going to play Dallas, like, oh, here comes Kyrie. There is, it comes to that thing. Minnesota's at home. Minnesota wins game 5 at home, and all of a sudden you're like, oh, boy, okay.
So that is the big thing now, and you're absolutely right, Fred. The scores were 108, 105, 109, 108. The blowout win for the Mavericks in this series was Game 3, 116, 107. The 9-point win that was blowing doors in relation to what these other games have been. But now it's a totally different feel. So you're up 3-1. You're still in a great position, and no team has ever come back from being down 3-0 in an NBA series, right?
Mm-hmm.
Fine.
Celtics almost pulled it off last year.
It's a little different, I think, for the Mavericks because now you have to go to the higher-seeded team in their building, I believe still the more talented team, and you have to beat them in a Game 5, and Minnesota now, the home court means something again. In a best of 3, that means something.
Yeah, you get home court, and then this is just taking you through the obvious, but then say they win Game 5, still whatever, they got to win 2 in a row. Not easy, still like Dallas. And then, like you said, you win the game in Dallas, you win Game 6, and now it's Game 7 at home. It's 3-3. Minnesota's won 3 in a row. Who do you like in that game? Then you got to figure there's no way Minnesota's losing that game. So unless they got too tight and they're too young, unless Gobert, let Gobert get out of the key.
Be like the Celtics coming home.
I was just going to say the Celtics went through this exact same scenario last year and lost Game 7 at home.
Nah.
No, they didn't to Miami. I don't believe that. If that was a foregone conclusion they were going to win that
All
game.
of us sat here and said that. That's right. No chance.
No way. Best team won. Miami. Good for Miami.
Gross.
And that set up that electric finals,
Yeah,
Denver
I know.
versus Miami.
So you said yesterday, Fred, that you'd rather have it be Minnesota Celtics in the final?
For my own personal enjoyment, yes, I would rather have it be Minnesota Celtics.
Once I started thinking about Kyrie versus the Celtics, I can't think about anything else.
Significant juice if Dallas wins.
For us, like as a radio show, I
Yeah.
guess Kyrie. If we're, but I don't like hate Kyrie or anything. But like, I guess if I could see why fans would, I think Kyrie is very confused individual. I didn't care that he stomped on the logo of the court. Like that didn't bother me. But the only reason I wanted Timberwolves personally for having to watch the games is I think the Timberwolves are a far more exciting team. The stars that the Timberwolves have are more fun to watch than the stars that Dallas has. Like Doncic is great and a great scorer, but what does he do? He shoots long threes, which are kind of cool. And then he bodies guys down and then shoots fadeaways.
You weren't bothered when Kyrie stomped on Lucky the Leprechaun?
No.
What kind of soulless monster are you?
I'm the kind of soulless monster that went into the Bruins locker room back when they had their logo on and was standing on the logo and was admonished by one of the writers to get the hell off of it. And then Sean Thornton, I went, oh, my bad, to Sean Thornton. He goes, what? And I go, I'm standing on the logo. And he goes, oh, who cares?
Yeah. Well, the writers care.
But it
you
was
should
funny
care.
because the writer was like, get the hell out. He was like, what are you doing, dude? You're not allowed to stand on the logo. And by the way, the logo's not an inch by an inch. The logo's like, John's been in. The logo's, Hardy, maybe
Rather
you've been in
large.
there.
Rather
It's like
large.
a couple feet by a couple feet.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like a small thing. Like, maybe more. It's like 4 feet by 4 feet, the logo.
It's almost there to trap people like you, like me at one time. Like, hey, what are you doing? Like the new people in there to kind of scare them a little bit.
Like,
Or
unless
try
you're
to.
like desecrating, someone's remains or like, like going after some like, religious icon or something like that. I don't know really what stomping on the corporate logo that's made billions for the team is how that's so offensive.
I've told you this before. I used to go to fraternity rush every time I could, up through senior year when I was at Michigan State, because you didn't have to be in a fraternity. It's not like other schools where you won't have a social life unless you're in a fraternity or sorority. I think when I was there, it was like 10% was Greek. So, but what I would do, because I looked very young all throughout college, was I pretended to be a freshman. And I would go to fraternity rush every single time they had rush, and they would have two rushes a year to get the free beer and the free food. And some of those houses really did it up. I mean, full-blown pig roast and everything else. But I was in one of these houses. I can't remember which one. Theta Chi, maybe. And they had their crest underneath a piece of plexiglass in, like, the main kitchen floor. And it was one of those, like, traps. Like, oh, whatever you do, don't stand on the crest. And I got caught standing on the crest. Like, what the hell? You're never getting in here now. And meanwhile, I'm 21. I'm in my senior year.
Okay, you win.
I'm like,
I'm not pledging here.
Just give me one more Labatt's out of the keg, and then I'll leave. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to offend
Darn
you guys.
That's terrible news.
Our fraternity house was built in the 1800s, and it was owned by the school. It had literally newspaper as insulation in between some walls. Not only did we have the Phantom Pooper that treated it with a lot of respect.
Yeah.
One time, one of our pledges locked himself during Hell Week or during pledging, locked himself in a room. So a dude who's from Rhode Island took out a table saw and cut the wall open just to go get the kid.
Dan O'Brien and I both our ears perked up. With a table saw?
Not a table saw.
I question that, Fred.
What's the saw? Not a table saw. What's
table
the
saw
one?
is
It sounds like a reciprocating saw he was using. A sawzall.
You see this motion I'm making?
Yeah, that'd be a sawzall. I think he's talking
What kind
about.
of saw is that?
I don't know.
I didn't see the motion, but yeah.
Like this. It's the one that goes like that.
Yeah, let's go with
He's
the
cocking a gun.
It wasn't
Sawzall.
Reciprocate.
It wasn't a chainsaw.
Well, it wasn't a table saw.
or a chop saw.
Yeah, a chop saw. Oh my God.
Whoa! No one
Man,
said
am I
chop
right?
saw.
Chop saw.
Guys, no one said chop saw. Let's not start slandering when it doesn't need to be said.
The guys at Home Depot are sitting here like, Fred,
I don't need
what's
it.
your problem?
I don't need them on my case.
You're
I
going to
didn't
have to apologize for that now, too. I'm just making a list today.
That'll be 7:12. That'll be about 10 after 7. He'll apologize.
listen
for
to
that.
me.
Table saw. Get a load of this
What
guy.
can't you take the circle saw off the table? Like what that would then?
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's a great idea. No, you got a circular saw for that, a handheld circular saw.
Then it was a handheld circular saw.
But you were doing this.
I don't know what
That's
that
a
was.
reciprocating saw.
I don't know what that. I don't even know if that was a reciprocating saw. I don't even know if. I think Fred was doing something else.
Was it a pneumatic drill? Was it even a saw?
Baldwin, call in. What did you use to cut the wall? He listens.
All right.
Call in.
Call in, Baldwin. All right. I think we should make Lockhart bring us up to speed on what happened with the Red Sox last night. 'Cause
He was all
watching.
bragging that he was watching
Yeah,
it.
and Lockhart, you take us through what happened last night with the Red Sox. Because I don't know. I'm just going to be sitting here making it up.
I'll tell you, Baltimore got swept by a young team out of St. Louis not so long ago.
Yeah, not going to win a championship that way.
No sirree, Bob. But there you go. The Baltimore hosted your Boston Red Sox.
Don't steal Lockhart's thunder. He's going to tell us what happened.
He's going to tell us.
He's
going to
say what happened. I'm setting it up and saying it happened. I'm not saying what happened. I said Baltimore hosted your local 9.
He's going to tell us about the reliever who owns the restaurant. Owns the restaurant.
Now, here we go. Now John's gone too far.
Forget it. Just forget it.
John's an enabler is what the problem is. All right, we will start this all for you in just a moment.
Let's start the show next.
All right, here are the headlines.
Sports Hub headlines.
Celtics have the home court for Game 1 of the NBA Finals a week from tomorrow night, but they still don't know who they're going to play because Minnesota beat Dallas 105-100 to finally get on the board in the Western Conference Finals. Luka Doncic, a 28-point triple-double, not enough. So far, Dallas leads this best-of-7 3 games to 1. Game 5 tomorrow night in Minneapolis. Patriots have signed top draft pick Drake May to his rookie contract. Also, they'll reportedly hold a joint practice with Philadelphia Tuesday, August 13th in Foxborough. That is the run-up to an exhibition game between the two teams 2 days later. And the Red Sox back over 500. They won in Baltimore last night 8-3. Rob Refsnyder and Will Abreu both homered. This 3-game series wraps up tonight. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by Safety Insurance, providing comprehensive coverage for your auto, home, and business. Ask your independent agent about safety. I'm John Wallach at Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 7 o'clock.
Tatum has been spectacular.
This is Jason Tatum.
Right corner against Embiid. Tatum for a 50-piece.
You're listening to the home of Boston Celtics basketball, 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Whether you want help with your plumbing business, plumbing career, or you need plumbing services, visit healthstartswithplumbing.com. Property owners and developers, don't let your project go down the drain. Plumbers earn the wages and benefits you deserve. Visit healthstartswithplumbing.com.
Aware Recovery Care provides a long-lasting solution for those suffering from addiction to drugs and or alcohol, working with you in your home, in your comfort zone, and on your schedule. By offering addiction support in the home, we help individuals develop the skills and daily habits crucial for staying sober, all while staying connected with loved ones and the community. Let us help you recover where you live. To learn more, visit awarerecoverycare.com. That's awarerecoverycare.com.
You figured out your hybrid work schedule. In office Tuesdays, Thursdays, and every third Friday for catered lunch. Duh. But parking? Ugh. With Spot Hero, it's already figured out. Visit SpotHero.com or download the free app and search your office.
Kutcher and Hardy, brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more with FanDuel. 617-779-0985. And our own Mike Lockhart was very impressive in the pre-show meeting as the elevators are down here at the Beasley building. So if you're coming in here to throw paint on us or something, just know that you're going to need some sort of dolly system to get them up, because there is the elevators were down. Did all of you walk up on the stairs?
No. You walked in through the main lobby, walked up like one big flight of stairs to get from lobby to mezzanine level, and then took the elevators up here.
There are a couple of different elevator banks. The ones you take down to get to the cafeteria, Fred, are working. The ones that we take to the garage area appear to be
Nick and
out
I
of service.
walked
Both
by the
door-
calf.
Yeah, when I got in
over
this
to
morning,
the-
both the doors were open, and inside the panel door was open, so just took the stairs.
Oh, so you guys are just 1, 2, 3 LBs, lazy bones. You just anything to get your brain cooking, so you don't have to climb some flights of stairs. Everything
correct.
for the old modern technology to get you up to me.
Freddie No Pockets took the stairs.
Yeah, Freddie
Why
no
don't you
elevators.
why don't you take the stairs every day?
I don't want to make people think I have a phobia of elevators. I want to stay
There's
with I want to stay the alpha.
There's a woman in this office, and I don't want to embarrass her, but we all know her, and she will not take the elevator, and she has to go down to that P1 parking level pretty regularly. And every single time she takes the stairs, because she
There are
will not
motivational
get in an elevator.
Yeah.
motivational messages painted on the
That's right.
wall.
Yeah.
at
You got
each-
this.
at each landing.
My mother.
You can do it.
My mother lived in Manhattan, New York City, for over a decade. Met my father there on Fire Island.
Oh,
What are the chances? Hello. And she has developed a fear of elevators, so she'll go, can we stay on the first floor at hotels, which is fantastic because that's the best floor.
those are the prime suites.
That's the best floor. And then, so when I had to go to that throat doctor a month ago or a few weeks ago when my parents were in town, he's on, these guys' office is on the 17th floor. I'm like, you don't have to come. And she's like, oh, I'm coming. And then we get in the elevator and you hit the 17th floor and you go up to the 17th floor. You're in the elevator for 40 seconds.
Right.
So that's my whole thing about being afraid of the elevator, is that I can understand that if it's stopped and jammed up, you'd flip out, and everyone would. I don't think anyone would be super psyched to be trapped in a small space. I mean, that's not, as humans, that's not our instinct. But my thing about being afraid of an elevator is that even if you have a tremendous amount of anxiety, it's over in 40 seconds. Like other things that you could have anxiety about, like public speaking, or public speaking or something else, like there's a chance you could get hurt or you could embarrass yourself. An elevator, it's 40 seconds, then you're done. Then it's so the worst case scenario is your heart rate gets faster and you feel an impending doom, but then the doors open and then it's over. That's always been my take.
I've never ever thought about being in an elevator and having any kind of anxiety about it.
I was trapped in an elevator at the University of Michigan baseball camp. Kids were jumping up and down. We were all kids. We were in this dorm that had elevators. Kids were John, I've told you this story before. Kids were jumping up and down, smashing buttons, and it got me all real nervous. And then finally the elevator just stopped and we got stuck. And I freaked out so bad, I turned to the kid next to me that was kicking the buttons and ripped him in the face. I lost my mind. I'm like, ah! I just hit the kid in the face. And then my moron ass pries the doors open, and there's probably about 3 feet.
Oh, man, I would freak out.
3
if I had
feet
to do
between,
that.
but to me it was like, I've got this. 3 feet between there's an opening, 3 feet between the top of the elevator and the floor.
Yeah.
And so I go, and I'm like, give me a boost. And no one said not to. And then I went up and I rolled out of the thing. But if that elevator would have started going again, it would have crushed me to death.
Oh, God.
I still remember that all the time.
Ugh.
But I hit a kid in the face, pried the doors. I mean, I was a real scaredy cat.
Yeah, well, that's the phobia that you do, start to get yourself out of there in that 3 foot section, and then the elevator starts moving.
But the
again.
thing is
and
that
then you're cut in half.
But the thing is that the elevator has to stop for that to happen. Now, Dan slyly, to make me feel bad in my ear, said, what about that's like tunnels?
Was not doing it to make you feel
bad. But here's the thing about tunnels.
About the duration of being in one. You could get in and out of one in 40 seconds.
But the chances of you getting stuck in a tunnel are maybe more than 1,000 times more likely than getting stuck in an elevator. You getting stuck in a tunnel happens all the time.
Oh, you mean like due to an accident stuck in a tunnel?
I mean, there was just a big fire in one of the tunnels.
Fire in there the other day over the weekend.
Yeah, it's like, and then once, I have a feeling once you're stuck in a tunnel, like you're just in there. Like there's no getting out of it. Like I don't know how the amount of work they have to do to clear it for you to get out of there has got to be insane because they got to get the work vehicles in there, and I have no idea how they do that. And then they got to tow everyone out in front of you. So I have a feeling you're spending like a day in that tunnel.
Nah, dear, come on. Like you just said, it happens all the time. Yeah, it probably takes a little extra time for the tow trucks to get through. But you got two cars to haul out of there? Get one of them table saws, put it up on its side. Get them cars out, no problem.
I don't like this
long extension cord.
I don't like you being so afraid of tunnels and elevators.
I'm not afraid of elevators.
I don't like that about you.
I'm not afraid of elevators. I don't like tunnels. I don't mind bridges as much as tunnels.
How about this? Get over it. How about that? Try that methodology. Don't worry about it.
You should write a book called Just Get Over It.
Just don't worry about it.
Like someone has all this childhood trauma and you're like, what up, puss?
Yeah.
Get over it.
Yeah.
Like, I was conditioned to be this way. I lived with these foster parents that were absolutely terrible. They treated me like an animal. Get over it.
Get over it. What are you worried about? You don't have foster parents no more.
Yeah, come on. Like, what do you mean? What was your brain got something wrong with it?
Yeah.
That's what you should say.
All right.
That'd be a great book.
So this happened.
You could go on Dr. Phil.
Go on tour.
This happened last night.
2 down, 2 strikes, and here it comes.
Woo! Hit the make a slappity slap.
And that was
all right, Mike Lockhart.
Bernardino.
Mike Lockhart, educate the masses. I was at the game on Saturday.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Yes. Wait. Sorry, I was listening to something else.
All right, want me to play it for you again to kind of get you back in the moment?
Bernardino highlight?
Listen.
2 down, 2 strikes, and here it comes. Swing and a miss. He gets out of it.
What did he get out of? What happened?
Okay, so Brian Bayo came back in the 6th. He didn't get anybody out. Bases were loaded. Bernardino came in with the bases loaded, got everybody out. Boom.
Bases loaded, nobody out. Got out of it.
He's been good this year.
Yeah, a little lefty out of the pen.
Yeah.
Pressure situations.
Tattoos all over his arms.
Yeah, well, listen, he's a bad boy.
Yep.
Look at that. I like that, too.
And Lockhart's just sitting there watching baseball.
Bullpen was awesome last night. That's what my life's become. Ever since I got my knee done, I just sit there alone and watch baseball.
We should have given Lockhart a list of actual good things to watch
No,
while he was convalescing.
I'm with Lockhart. If you're watching baseball, because I watch it too. I watch the MLB app, and it does feel like you're doing something.
Yeah. I've seen so much NL Central baseball this year.
Baby. You like mediocrity.
A lot of Reds, a lot of Pirates.
No one's so bad, but no one's so good.
No, exactly.
That's a division that let it atrophy a while.
You win some, you lose some.
Let it atrophy a while. Let everyone will be fine. Don't get your head over your skis. Remember when Goldschmidt and Arenado were good? That was a long time ago.
Well, how about an offensive highlight to?
If it's a souvenir for the fan.
Swinging a high, deep.
Woo! Well, that ain't coming down anytime soon. Let it fly, let it fly.
Swinging a high, deep drive left field.
Oh, Dad, put down your soda. Catch it for the boys.
Try it again.
Swinging a high, deep drive left field.
How many feet on the back is? How many we're going to bring?
No, let it play all the way
slap?
through. It's better if he calls it.
No. I'm going to stop it if he interrupts it, but he won't interrupt it this time.
Swinging a high, deep drive left field by Ref Snyder. Backing up.
Where's that going? You can back up all night. You're not going to find it. It's going to be in the back of the wall where the balls go to die.
I beg of you, let the highlight breathe.
Swinging a high, deep drive left field.
Oh, another cow lost his life for a little rawhide.
Swinging a high, deep
Wood
drive
meat,
left
bat
field.
meat fan. Or ball meat fan.
Ooh,
Swinging a high, deep drive left field.
Oh, it's high. Where'd it go? Oh, it's up there with the Nassau.
Swinging a high, deep drive left field by Ref Snyder. Backing up Hayes, backing up, and is gone. The
He's
Red
got
Sox
cigarettes
get a
rolled
really-
up in his sleeve. He's Snyder. He's trying to bang the redhead.
Ref Snyder. Not Schneider. Ref Snyder. Sox.
Valerie Bertinelli.
Nice ninth inning cushion.
Beautiful. Get open this thing up.
Oh.
Yeah, be really nice.
It's nice to open up that cushion.
Yeah.
They say, Dave.
Let's make a fort. Open up that cushion and make a fort in the living room. It's a sleepover. Mom will be in bed in about 10 minutes. I just hit a dinger.
Whole house smells like microwave popcorn after that dong.
You're going to get a whole summer of that. I'm just warning you, haven't done a summer with me. A whole summer when there's only baseball highlights.
Didn't do the salami call either. You
No,
were afraid? That was pretty good.
No, because I'll say salami and then someone will get all mad at me about that there wasn't the bases loaded. There was no grand salami.
yeah.
So you're using it inappropriately.
Yeah, they say that I'm using it.
8-3 Red Sox get the win.
Woohoo! One game over 500. Let's hear it.
And last night, Zolak sent me a picture of Tyler Milliken's nipples up close.
That was a little startling. You see that picture?
No.
And I don't think he took them without Milliken's.
Milliken posted it on his Twitter account. It's a quick search.
He
I
sees
dare
his
you.
cousins lapping him, so he's got to start getting nudes out there. All right. We'll be right back. Danny Roach in the hip-hop community.
You're listening to Toucher and Hardy on the Sports Hub.
The NBA playoffs have tipped off.
Last night, the Mavericks missed out on a chance for a 4-game sweep in the Western Conference Finals as they came up short to the Timberwolves 105-100. Anthony Edwards led the winners with 29 points, and Karl Anthony Towns added 25.
Being aggressive. There ain't no time to have any doubts in your mind, especially at this time. It's game 4. We down 3-0. There ain't no time to have any doubts. I'm going to go out there, be aggressive, shoot my shot like I've been doing all series, and be confident in every shot I shoot.
Now down 3-1, the Minnesota Timberwolves will host Game 5 tomorrow night. In football news, the Patriots yesterday signed the 3rd overall pick in the draft, Drake May, to a 4-year, $36.6 million contract with a signing bonus of over $23 million. Also, they'll hold a joint practice with Philadelphia Tuesday, August 13th, ahead of their exhibition game against the Eagles at Gillette Stadium 48 hours later. The Houston Texans have signed wideout Nico Collins to a 3-year contract extension worth over $72 million. Brian Bale made it through 5 innings for the win. The Red Sox beat the Orioles in Baltimore 8-3. Cutter Crawford faces Baltimore tonight. Florida beat the Rangers in overtime 3-2 to tie up the NHL's Eastern Conference Finals at 2 games apiece. And round 2 of the French Open tennis tournament underway in Paris this morning. American Coco Gauff, women's top seed Iga Swiatek, and men's 2 seed Jannik Sinner are your headliners. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by the Massachusetts Energy Marketers Association, clean, renewable bioheat fuel. I'm John Wallach at Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 7:30.
It's not just the games. It's the preseason, the postseason, the drafts, the trades, front office drama, the locker room banter, and you talking all about it.
Blah, 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 blah.
On Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. You're listening to Toucher and Hardy.
Flavor of Love, where a woman went number 2 on the stairs. And then they did I Love New York after that, which had Chance and Real, 2 biological brothers from Kentucky who displayed their wealth through vast horse purchases. And then that led to New York at one point. Chance on a date saying she was confused on who to pick. It was between Chance and another gentleman. And she said, I like what's-his-face, but I just love Chance's thuggish ways. And then ultimately, I believe Chance was picked. But I can't remember. Real did not talk. He just wore a cowboy hat.
I never watched Flavor of Love. That was the name of the show?
Yeah, I questioned why some women were doing it because I don't think they might have liked Flavor Flav.
Come
really.
on.
And I do question the amount of alcohol and maybe even like X-Lax that they would give the girls that one would go poopy on the stairs. I found that to be strange, too.
I love Chance's thuggish ways.
That's because she's going back and forth in her head. And then that was the thing she loved about Chance. But the thing about Chance and Real is that they were from Kentucky, so a lot of times people will collect jewelry or they'll collect cars, and they'll wow you with that. They had horses, and then they would rap about horses.
I love Chance's thuggish ways.
Which is because a lot of times everyone was focused on Tupac and Biggie, East Coast, West Coast. Mm-hmm. But what about the Louisville-Lexington battles over horses? Remember Nappy Roots? I mean, they were from Kentucky. They were from, Y'all Up and Done It?
Nope.
You don't remember Nappy Roots?
Nope.
Real and Chance?
Nope.
Remember them?
Nope.
Real has passed away.
Oh, I'm sorry.
When did that happen?
Thank you. Don't say anything. When did it happen?
Yeah.
Too soon. Oh. All right, so why do we bring up Flavor Flav, Hardy?
Flavor Flav apparently has some connection with Drew Holiday.
Drew Holiday.
You see, I went in a
That's what his teammates call him, Drew.
I don't know that they do.
They do, absolutely.
I don't think they do. I think they say Drew, and I think it's supposed to be pronounced like the nickname for Andrew, which people just say Drew.
Well, it's not a nickname. It's the gentleman's name, and I think we have someone who would know. John Wallach, as a professional broadcaster and voice of the Boston Celtics before Sean Grande so coldly turned the job down.
Yes.
What and then boxed you out of getting the radio job, which is your true dream, not being in here. How do you suppose Mr. Holiday's first name?
Drew.
All right.
Like Andrew.
I think you're wrong.
A nickname for Andrew is Drew.
Jason Tatum.
You pronounce it Drew.
Jason Tatum calls him Drew.
Okay.
So that's what I'm going with.
Okay.
If you guys want to go against the team, that's fine, but I'm on Team Celtics. All right.
As you always have been.
All right. So Flava Flav is friends with Mr. Holiday, and what happens?
Dan Roach caught up with Flava Flav in Indiana. I believe this was before Game 3. At some point, figured out that he was there to see Drew Holiday and Dan Roach. This is something that, of course, was going to happen. I'm sure Dan Roach knew who Flava Flav was. I'm sure it didn't have to be pointed out to him who Flava Flav was. I'm completely convinced that Dan is familiar with the entire Public Enemy catalog.
Dan was a ghostwriter on Nas's Ether, you know.
Hey, nice necklace.
So, no prep needed. He just rolls right into it. They start talking old school hip hop. They start talking about Chuck D. They start talking about SW1, Sister Soldier, finding out what everybody is up to in Public Enemy.
Wasn't SW1 right here? Is that even a rap group?
That's SWV. I like it, though. That's a Michael Jackson thing. Yeah. It's SWV.
Starts talking about the Terror Dome. They're talking about Apocalypse 91, The Enemy Strikes Black.
He's saying crucifixion ain't no fiction.
Right.
So-called chosen frozen. Apologies out whoever pleases. Still they got me like Jesus. And he said that was a controversial line. And then in this interview, does he tell him that Farrakhan's a prophet that he thinks they ought to listen to?
What he can say to you, what you ought to do is follow for now. Hear
Power
all
to the people say. Make
Pump
a
the miracle of the lyrical.
No,
Black is back. Fall in, we're going to win. Check it out. Yeah, y'all, come on. Here we go again.
Pump the lyrical D. Make a miracle D. Pump the lyrical.
Oh, my apologies.
Flava Flav and Danny Roach.
What's up, CBS Boston? Of course, then we in Boston.
What was that like for you to watch?
Man, it was incredible. You know.
What are we talking about? What is he talking about? The first time that do you remember the reality show when he was with the tall lady from Rocky IV? Brigitte Nielsen?
Yep.
Do you remember that one? When it was just Brigitte Nielsen drunk outside and Flava Flav running around? The show is called Brigitte Nielsen Weighs a Lot and is drunk outside.
It looks 30 years older than she was.
Yes.
Yes.
She went from being went from being a woman who broke up Sylvester Stallone's marriage by sending him a real life-size nude of herself. It got her into movies and into his life to being a woman smoking drunk outside. That's what, and listen, we know our own. She was like a female me. All right, here we go.
What's up, CBS Boston? Of course, then we in Boston.
What was that like for you to watch?
Man, it was incredible. You know, I came out here really, you know what I'm saying, for the International 500, for the Indianapolis 500.
The International 500. Which is, that's why it's called the Indy, is it's short for international.
Repping the pace car.
You know, Professor Griff, big IndyCar fan.
Yes.
Any open wheel. Formula One.
Right.
Indy. Yeah.
Hey, he's changed. Didn't he teach a course at Harvard last year? He's changed.
Well, he is a professor.
Yes.
Professor Griff, again, used to do my show in Atlanta once a week or once a month.
And he did not like you.
I think he tolerated me, but it was great. What did he like me? I let him say whatever he wanted to and just took phone calls. I didn't say anything the whole time.
Because you're a white devil. That's why.
Yeah, but as white devils go, I gave him a pulpit to say whatever he wanted, and I never questioned him.
Okay.
But you could literally say Professor Griff was a member of the SW1 that was the Public Enemy's like kind of band, and Professor Griff has a lot of very, very revolutionary thoughts, and so you could say anything like moon landing, and he would just be like, "That's BS," like Kennedy assassination, BS, like anything. He would just be like, "That's the white devil lying to you," and so we would have him on. And we would just bring out, like, just say a subject, and he would just go on, and people would call in and yell at him, and he would never get upset. And he would just be like, all right, you stink. And then they start talking real fast.
Yeah. Know what I'm saying? And the Celtics happen to be playing tonight here. Like, you know, and Drew Holiday, that's my boy. That's my good friend. So I came to support Drew tonight, you know?
How amazing was he?
He was amazing, man. His defense is amazing. I just wish he would shoot the ball more. Because if he shoot the ball more, his contribution to the team will be amazing.
Wearing his jersey?
Yes, yeah, he just gave it to me.
Dan is pointing. These are such good questions.
Stop.
How was it to be here and you're wearing his jersey?
He asked him if it was amazing. That's a good question.
But aren't they? If I'm not, TV's got pictures, right? So if I'm looking at this, I can see he's got the jersey on, right? How good friends do you think Giroux Holiday and Flavor Flav are in real life? Like, how often do you think they cross paths? Because there's quite a bit of age difference. I'd say there's 40 years age difference between
I'm
the two.
going to say maybe once a year.
How old is Drew Holiday?
He's not in his 50s.
He's in his 30s.
Okay.
33, 34.
Flavor Flav, I looked it up, is 65.
Yeah.
He's almost twice his age.
Like how
Twice his age.
Like what orbit are they in together? There's this video of Flavor Flav running into was it Miley Cyrus? But it's like Miley Cyrus, and he's like, Kelly Clarkson. He's like, yeah, Flavor Flav and Kelly Clarkson, and it's the Achy Breaky Heart Girl.
Oh yeah, that's Miley Cyrus.
Yeah, and she's like, hey, I'm a big fan. He's like, yeah, Kelly Clarkson. So I don't think he's really good friends with Holiday, but who knows? Is Holiday from Long Island? That's where Public Enemy's from, Roosevelt, Long Island.
It's still wet. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's what Flavor Flav get. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, boy, my boy Drew.
Any message back to the fans in Boston now of 3-0?
Yo, the only thing I can say is good luck, Boston. You know what I'm saying? And, hey, if y'all have a Game 7 up there, whatever, I'm coming to the game. Y'all going to see me at the game. Yeah, boys. Yeah, Boston. Of course, then. We got Boston. Yo, thanks for having me.
By the way, Flavor Flav, one of the great heads-up signings of all time by a band. He completely evened out Chuck D.
Oh yeah,
that was a perfect match. The Flavor Flav and Chuck D. Chuck D very serious, very literary, and then you had the Clown Prince and Flavor Flav. Mm-hmm. The two of them were perfect.
Well,
two tremendous albums.
I think there is probably a case to be made that combination was good, but what may have been better was the time Flavor Flav teamed up with Dick Flavin, poet laureate of the Red Sox, during a 98 mile. Do you remember this, Fred?
No.
This was during the battle royale between you and Rich Keefe, and all reinforcements were brought in, including Flavor Flav, who teamed up with Dick Flavin.
Wait, hold on a second. What is this?
Yeah, boy!
It's Dick Flavin Flav!
It's the Red Sox poet laureate.
Flavin Flav, what an honor.
Good to be aboard.
Great to have you aboard.
Have we heard from Dick Flavin since he messed up on that Nesson broadcast?
I don't think so. No.
The poet laureate of the Boston Red Sox.
I don't even think Dick Flavin is still with us. I think he's passed on.
No, hey, hands off.
I was going to say, that'll be
8:05. God bless him. Listen, God bless every poet out there.
This just
You
stopped.
said what we could not.
That just stopped in the middle of it. I wanted to play that whole thing. I'll get it ready next.
You know who's been treated well in their career is Rich Keefe. Everyone seems to like him, but he just keeps getting taken down a peg.
We just saw him. We saw him a few weeks ago.
I'm a fan of Rich Keefe.
Yeah.
There's no question about it. I like every time I see him. But he always seems to get a raw deal, is all I'm saying. All right, there you go. Danny Roach with our friend Flavor Flav. We will be back. Hardy will figure out his equipment in just a moment.
Rich, Toucher, and Hardy. 98.5 The Sports Hub.
You've heard a lot about
Team too. So each of those guys had off nights in the series. I don't feel like Drew Holiday did.
He's the reason you're in the spot you're in. The addition of Drew Holiday is allowing this team to sort of excel in other ways.
Zolak and Bertrand, weekday mornings at 10 on the Sports Hub. You're listening to Toucher and Hardy on the Sports Hub.
Hey, we're Toucher and Hardy. 617-779-0985. This is from James, a clear up. SW1 was the DJ on Living Color. The S1W, security of the worst world.
That's
step for public enemy.
That's it. Thank you.
To my rescue, it was the S1W. That was in Black Steel and Hour Chaos. Very long song. Great video, though. John Wallach has got breaking news that could be pertaining to the Boston Celtics.
Yes, according to Woj and others, as of this hour, USC freshman guard Bronny James is staying in the NBA draft tonight at midnight is the deadline for all those who wish to withdraw to do so. But ahead of the midnight deadline, according to his agent, Bronny James is staying in the draft. Apparently, his performance at the draft combine opened more than a few eyes. There are multiple teams looking at him, not necessarily in the second round either. So he must have a promise from somebody in the first round.
Whoa,
he must. Otherwise, he wouldn't stay in to be drafted 45th overall.
Why not?
Because I think you get the guaranteed 3-4 year contract if you're taken in the first round.
Oh, I don't know about that. So the idea would be to take him to get LeBron James to play for your team?
Or, against all odds, take him because you think he can be a contributor.
Okay. All right, let's talk about
I'm betting the Lakers, if no other team, the Lakers have promised him to take him at the end of the first round.
All right, he's a 6'1" point guard.
Yep.
Who averaged 4.8 points a game. He shot 26% from three, and he averaged 2 assists a game. Here's his pluses. Good athlete with strong frame and length, which isn't the most surprising thing for someone who shares genes with LeBron James. High IQ decision maker and ambidextrous player. He isn't a lead guard, but certainly has the passing feel to make his teammates better. So he's a 6'1" guy who's not a lead guard. Minuses, he's a poor shooter who only made 19.6% of 46 catch-and-shoot 3-point attempts at USC. Okay. John, I'm coming out of the draft. I'm a 6'11" big.
Mm-hmm.
What would be the biggest knock on me?
If you can't shoot from the outside.
If I'm a 6'1" guard,
yes,
I shouldn't be playing basketball at the Y if I can't shoot threes.
Agreed. You're coming at me like I disagree with this assessment.
This
I don't
is
think
the ringer.
I don't think he's worthy of an NBA spot either.
This is just if this is LeBron's advice, this is just like bad parenting because you're putting your son in a situation where if he gets drafted, it's like a charity thing. And it's really just because of his name. And if Bronny James loves basketball, he should by all means pursue it. But if he was anyone else, everyone would be telling him, go back to college. First of all, you get paid to be in college now.
Yeah.
So it's not like you're losing money. And I would bet Bronny James would get a huge NIL deal because of his name. So capitalize on your name if companies want to give you money. That's fine. But why wouldn't you stay in college? Put together a season or two of college tape, then come out, make millions of dollars in college, then come out and do it on your own. Go ahead.
According to this story from Woj, James is the number 54 prospect on the ESPN Top 100 this summer. But he had a strong pre-draft process and has elevated his standing from fringe to draftable prospect. His agent, Rich Paul, told ESPN, Bronny's draft range is wide. He's a really good prospect who has, I'm using quotation marks, a lot of room for growth. It only takes one team. I don't care where that team is. It could be number 1 or 58. I do care about the play and his development, blah, 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 blah.
And by the way, he's coming off like a horrific heart issue.
Somebody has promised him that they will draft him.
Here's more on him. Could he improve as a shooter? Perhaps. But get this, John. He hasn't proven to have touch in high school and college combined. So he's never been able to shoot. So if I've never been able to shoot ever, and I've had access to the best trainers, I've gone around the world with my father, there's no expenses been spared. They created a high school for me to play at. I went to USC and had D1 shot doctors working with me, and I can't shoot. What makes you think he's going to be able to shoot anytime soon?
Honestly, the only thing I can think of, and it's mentioned...
He lacks a great handle.
Yes, in this Woj article is...
he can't dribble or shoot.
Each NBA team now has 3 two-way contracts. But if you're an NBA two-way player, you get paid more through NIL if you are a decent college player than you do if you're a two-way player, I believe. I mean, what does it benefit Bronny James to go play for the Maine Celtics or the Fort Wayne or Stockton? Why would you not stay in school?
Because of your father. He lacks a great handle, limiting his ability to create regularly create his own shot and get into the paint. In the half court, he didn't log a single dunk attempt and made only one of his 5 attempts on self-created shots at the rim. So he can't create a shot, he can't dribble, and he can't shoot. What is his? And he's 6'1", so he can only guard guards. So what the hell is his? What is? Why did he move? Did everyone else forget to play basketball? By the way, the Celtics have the 54th pick in the draft, right before the Lakers at 55. It would be hysterical if they took Bronny James.
It'd be fantastic.
I mean, it's whoever they take then isn't going to play anyway, so you might as well take Bronny James and just to screw with LeBron. Wait, hell, get LeBron here. Have him take the league minimum and come on this team. Then you win another championship probably. Have him come off the bench. But you're telling me that no one else plays basketball? A kid, and listen, I want Bronny James to succeed. I have nothing against Bronny James. My problem is with Bronny James. My problem is the people around Bronny James. Like if it was my kid, and he goes, Dad, and I was like this great basketball player. My kid was like, look, Dad, I want to get into basketball. I go, oh, absolutely. Here's the coaches. Lay it out for you. Whatever you need, I'm here for you. Work hard, do your best. But then if he was coming out and the only reason anyone's talking about him is because he's my son, I would be like, follow your own path. Do it in your own way. Go ahead.
Apparently, his workouts during the pre-draft process opened a lot of eyes. He tested as, his three-point shooting, he tested as one of the top 5 three-point shooters at the combine. His explosivity was apparently great. You know that drill where they jump really high and hit those rods near the rim? Apparently, he was great at look, there's no reason why this kid
Mike
should
Mamula
enter the NBA draft. Yes.
Without the size.
It's actually a very good comparison.
So a kid, you have tape of the kid from going back from birth. He's never been able to shoot.
Only Mamula was a better college athlete than this kid.
Well, and big. I mean, Vernon Golston was a freak, like an athletic freak. This kid's small. This would all be great if he was 6'8". He's 6'1", and 6'1.5" means he's 6 foot and a half.
It's not only that. He came off the bench for a team that finished under 500. I mean, his heart issue had something to do with that, but I don't care if he was a McDonald's All-American or not.
Oh, he was. Why he was a McDonald's All-American.
But even so, if he wasn't one of the top 24 players in the league, he was the top 30 or 40.
Yeah.
I guess what I'm saying is he was a very good high school player, but that doesn't matter at this point.
He was a very good defensive high school player that couldn't shoot. I'm telling you, man, he wasn't worthy of being a McDonald's All-American.
You realize how screwed up this is? He didn't play at USC last year.
So you can make a case for the Lakers, I guess, from a business standpoint. If you're doing it to appease LeBron, you're doing it, and it doesn't really matter if it's a later round pick. But as you said, to go ahead and say, yep, I'm in, you would have to think he's doing it because he's gotten some.
Yes, he has a promise.
First round consideration. So it would either be from the Lakers or from Phoenix, because 10 teams asked him to work out, and he declined all of them except for the Lakers and Phoenix. It was the only 2 teams he agreed to pre-draft workouts for.
Well, if Phoenix has got a maniac owner who's owned them right out of the first round, I mean, he's got an owner that put together a team that lost in the first round of the playoffs. So get Bronny James and have Bronny James there because he has the same last name as LeBron.
Yeah. Phoenix has 1 pick, by the way.
At 22.
Yeah.
If Bronny James is a first round pick in the NBA draft, it is. If I'm the commissioner, I'm like, you can't do this. You can't do this because if there is not enough talent out there, international talent, collegiate talent, G League talent out there that is better than Bronny James, then you have a big problem. Then basketball's in a crisis. Then basketball is in a terrible crisis because this is a kid that's not. This is like Bronny James kind of kid that like you would see like play in AAU and you'd just be like, okay, this is a good kid.
Yeah. The Lakers have one pick, and it's that pick 55 right behind the Celtics.
The Celtics should take him. The Celtics should take him just in a heel turn, and maybe for the good of Bronny James.
Doesn't New Orleans have like some decision to make though with the pick that they got from the Lakers? Like they don't necessarily have to use it this year.
They have the option to defer it to next year.
Yeah.
They have the option to defer it to next year. So the Lakers could have 2 picks. They could have number 17 overall.
Thank you.
But are you betting on the Lakers being worse next year?
Listen,
probably.
Listen.
Probably. No, I disagree. They'll probably be a little bit better. Bring everybody back. Add Bronny James. Away we go.
But I'm telling
Bring
you,
everybody back even older.
Yeah.
LeBron will be
LeBron's never going to
44.
hit the wall. He's going to be playing like this when he's 46.
I mean, it sucks, and it doesn't mean the kid couldn't be like an athlete. But I mean, you are coming off a heart condition where you weren't even allowed to like have your preseason last year, so you weren't even allowed to train really. So you've just been able to train over the last like 9 months. It's not good. It's very bad. It's not good. Like that'd be like if your kid was like, I want to be in radio. And then he's like, and then you're like, okay, like, well, just come work on my show. You know, you're 19, just come work on my show. You never done it before, and there's no one who says that you can do it. Instead of going, why don't you go, go to school for it or go work at a small market and get your chops up? It just doesn't seem right. It seems like a bad way to go. But there you have it. The Celtics could play ultimate spoiler, and that would be a reason to watch round 2. Maybe this is a conspiracy for the NBA because they got it out. They have round 2 as its own night now.
It's actually Bronny James is lucky because he could go in the first round. This is supposed to be one of the worst drafts ever.
He's not going in the first round. I don't think there's any way he's going. And I don't think a team has told him they're taking him in the first round. I don't. I just think he's got nothing to lose.
We can all agree a team has told him that he is going to get drafted.
I don't even know if that's true.
Oh, I think it is. There's no other reason for this.
I just think he doesn't. He doesn't need money. Maybe he just doesn't feel like going back to college. It was a pain in his ass. He doesn't feel like doing it. He wants to play pro already. Maybe he says like, why am I not playing pro yet? I'm LeBron James' son. Yeah. I should be playing pro.
Wow.
You couldn't see that being a scenario?
I see it. And knowing athletes the way I do, yes, that is certainly a possibility.
Yeah, like
I'm sure Rich Paul, who is, his agent, wants to, oh, sure. Yes, LeBron, by all means.
Yeah, if I'm Rich Paul, Bronny James is an albatross that I have to carry around to keep my client happy.
I mean, why get drafted if you're going to be a two-way player?
I don't understand why you wouldn't make NIL money and have fun in college, but I guess he doesn't enjoy college.
In L.A., I mean, you've already, decided you want to transfer from USC, but...
Jesus, go to Columbia and own New York. Live in a $20 million penthouse in New York.
Play for Patino. St. John's. He'll take you.
Absolutely. Go out to beautiful St. John's. Play for Hofstra. I'll be there next Friday. All right. We'll be back in just a moment. Here are the headlines.
Sports Hub headlines.
Celtics are off until a week from tomorrow night. They'll host Game 1 of the NBA Finals. Still don't know who their opponent is. Minnesota beat Dallas 105-100 to avoid being swept in the Western Conference Finals, and they have the home floor for Game 5 tomorrow night. ESPN is reporting, as we were just talking, that Bronny James, the son of LeBron, is staying in this year's draft. Tonight at midnight is the deadline to withdraw and head back to school. Patriots have signed Drake May to his 4-year rookie contract. Patriots will hold one joint practice with Philadelphia and Foxborough Tuesday, August 13th. That's ahead of the exhibition game at Gillette Stadium 2 days later. And the Red Sox won in Baltimore last night, 8-3. They'll wrap things up at Camden Yards tonight. Cutter Crawford will start. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by East Coast Metal Roofing, the official roofing partner of the Boston Celtics. Mention 98.5 The Sports Hub and get 10% off your new roof. Visit eastcoastmetalroofing.com. I'm John Wallach at Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 8 o'clock.
And you can, we are brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more with FanDuel. Should I ask Nick?
Oh, yeah.
Nick, were you on the air with another radio station in Tampa? Did they put you on the air without your permission? Nicholas, you have a nice little lawsuit in your pocket. Nicholas, did someone call and they put you on their airways without your permission? Well, come to the microphone so I can talk to you so the audience can hear this. All right, so someone called the request line and they asked you to the show in Tampa.
Yes.
And were they nice to you?
They were nice.
And then they said, and then you were on the air without your permission?
Yes.
So, yeah, when you call us, you assume you're on the air, but when we call you, we need your permission.
Right.
Nicholas, are you going to sue them? Are you going to sue iHeart, Nicholas?
Oh, absolutely.
Are you going to sue iHeart Tampa?
Oh, yeah.
You know you could.
I could.
I'm not joking. Like, you could sue them for putting you on the air without your knowledge. You could make quite a little bit of noise.
That's true. I could.
No, I'm not being sarcastic. Like, if you got a lawyer, they would do it pro bono just for a piece of what you got from them. You could sue the station in Tampa.
That's true.
What show is it?
It's the Pat and Aaron Show. I believe you got a call from Casey Warner, who is executive producer of the Pat and Aaron Show.
You can sue them. You can absolutely sue them. And iHeart has listen, not a lot of money, but they have a lot of assets, and you can sue iHeart, and you can sue them, and then they will settle with you.
I'll weigh my options. I'll check it out today. I'll try to pull.
I can tell you from experience that you can be sued. It can happen, and what will happen is that you're going against a corporation. They're just going to want it to go away, so they'll have to pay you off.
That'd be nice. I need a new car, so that'd be great.
Yeah.
Thanks, iHeart.
So if I was you, I'd grab the audio of them putting you on the air.
Oh.
And then I would call an attorney immediately.
I don't want you to get Casey in trouble, though. I'm looking at his Twitter feed right now. It's just a festival of depression. I don't want you to make this kid's life any rougher. So there's Casey.
He's
He's
young
behind the
man.
mic. And this is from May 26th. This was his Sunday. He was listening to Deftones on vinyl with a bottle of Sutter Home Pinot Grigio.
Oh, boy.
With just cables hanging in the background. I'm guessing on a TV that wasn't properly hung on that, like, popcorn finish on the wall that's very popular there in Tampa.
How old a man is this guy?
I don't know, but he was probably just doing what Pat or Aaron asked him to. And
Why Sutter Home? Was he with a...
Why Deftones on vinyl?
Did he bring home a homeless woman? Why Sutter Home?
Made a nice addition to the wall, and he's got a... is that a Tampa Bay Rays skate deck that he's got hung next to a lava lamp? This kid's... He's figuring things out in life.
It's a sparse setup.
Yeah, just leave him be.
But if Nicholas...
Don't sue Casey.
No, you don't sue Casey because Casey's indemnified by the company. You sue iHeart. You want what the money is. What do you want? His Deftones record and his... Oh, did he do a big Morgan Spurlock thing too? Good for him.
He's posted a... Oh.
What?
Casey.
What did he post? What did Casey from Tampa post?
Oh, no.
It's a photo of what he picked up at the grocery store, some Sonic freezer bars that he's very excited about. He's giving a thumbs up to the camera and a selfie there.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, Nicholas could be waving us all goodbye as he goes on and gets his money from iHeart.
Do me a favor, take Wallach with you because he didn't want to be here, and that Celtics gig isn't coming through.
iHeart.
So if you make enough money,
I'm not going to Tampa.
No,
you just be part of the lawsuit and cash in.
Yes, that's it.
When iHeart bankrupt all over the place, making horrible decisions, failing all over. When they deregulated radio, iHeart, they just said, what was iHeart's real name? Was Clear Channel.
Clear Channel.
They had to change Clear Channel on the account of they were failing so badly they had to change the name of the company. It was a big failure. And then what they said is when they deregulated radio, they go, we're going to bring up all the radio you can. And there you go. All right. I'm taking this.
Go ahead.
James, go ahead. James. All right, he's no longer there.
What James want to talk about?
No. I just felt like taking a phone call.
We're getting a lot of hit and runs on the phone line. So.
All right.
We're getting a lot of the Tampa folks.
Why have we upset the Tampa folks so much?
Because they're easily upset on the account of...
they're stuck in northern Florida?
Because they've taken paradise and ran it over.
It's really more mid...
Central Florida?
No, it's western central.
All right.
Yeah, Tampa is
on the Gulf Coast.
a despicable place.
No.
There's no question
Anything
about
north
it.
of Miami is northern Florida. To me.
Well, it's not like Miami's some paradise either. I'm telling you that Florida could have been a Eden, but man has gone and ruined it. It is the biggest slap in the face to whatever higher power you believe in.
Boy, the Pat and Aaron show are making a lot of mileage out of that one skate deck on their Facebook page. They got 3 different photos of it, both hosts holding it. They're doing a tandem photo of them holding it, each separate host holding it, from one skate deck.
What kind of station are they on?
We talk about Pat Donovan and Aaron Jacobson talk about sports on 95.3 WDAE and AM 620. Listen to them. All the cool kids are doing it.
That's what it says?
Yep.
A flamethrower.
Well, I mean, I would like it. I would wish that iHeart would at least have a meeting for you to get together to learn the legalities of airing someone, putting someone on the air. Because, my friends, you have made a grave error, and you've gone after Nick Gemelli, son of Mark Gemelli, the mayor of North Boston, the North End.
Yes.
And he is going to handle this from here on out. So you've picked a war with the wrong soldier. You went after Captain America when you after young Nicholas. Young Nicholas has a lot of time on his hands and a baby to feed. And by you coming out on him and putting him on the air, you have made a grave error. I've already called my attorney.
Oh, they also posted an unboxing video of a box they got sent from the Tampa Bay Rays. Looks like they sent them jerseys.
Oh, good for them.
How many followers do they have on Twitter?
Under 4,000.
Oh, good for them, making a career. Well, congratulations. I want the 4,000 Twitter followers in the lawsuit too. I want those handed to me.
Can you sue? Can you sue for social media followers?
Yeah, you can. And then there's a whole big thing where there's a discovery thing where they put a bunch of embarrassing stuff about you out, apparently. And you want to avoid that at all costs. What's the Twitter account's handle?
Wallach, you were on it.
The Twitter account for the Pat and Aaron Show is Pat and Aaron Show.
Yeah, so I would believe that's Pat and Aaron's account.
Yes.
You can't just Pat can't run off with the Pat and Aaron account and say it's his. Like if Pat runs off with the Pat and Aaron account and I'm Aaron,
but they do have.
I'm like my name's on it too. Why are you trying to take this from me?
Okay, but they do have personal accounts there. There's Pat Donovan Radio, who actually has more followers than the show account, and Jacobson on air. That's Aaron Jacobson. Also more followers than the show account.
So they're better off as individuals than they are as a team.
And then poor Casey, who may have put Nick on the air without his permission. He's got 253 followers, but he does have a lava lamp. So,
Well, listen, we all have the things that we need.
What did they ask Nick about, I wonder?
Oh, they were being silly goose.
Listening to Nick, though, back there, I handled it very well. Wait, am I on the radio? I don't want to be on the radio. I didn't get, and I said, tell him you didn't give, I didn't give you permission to put me on direct, and then he hung up in the middle of his statement. Like, you got to make your statement. You have to have it out there.
Well, they confused Nick, and then Nick started hitting his head against the wall, causing damage to not only company property, but his head. These guys are in for a lot of liability, I'll tell you that. They really screwed up. You went after Nicholas Gemelli, and we ain't stand for that.
Very litigious.
Very litigious. The man has a speed dial of local attorneys, shady ones too. Take it and do anything for money. You know Nicholas. He wants nothing more to retire. He's got that little kid at home. He needs a college fund. Well played, Tampa. You screwed up again. You screwed up again. You and Bubba the Love Sponge and everything else that you diarrheaed out in Tampa.
Who's the college fund? Is the college fund for Nick or for...
No, Nick didn't go to college. He saved all that money for his kid. His kid is brilliant. All right, we'll be right back.
You're listening to Toucher and Hardy on the Sports Hub.
Hey, the NBA playoffs obviously are well underway. Celtics are in the finals. We got
Toucher and Hardy. And we come back, Double Bear, Rugged Double Bear.
Rugged Double Bear at 8 o'clock.
Rugged Double Bear. Something that I've been called before.
It might be, you know what? I don't want to oversell it. It might be a Rugged Triple Bear.
No.
Really?
Rugged Triple Bear, which we don't even know what that is yet.
Well, I'm always amazed at all the terms. If you missed it last night, the Minnesota survives. As these games have all been close, Minnesota survives. They move on to a Game 5, and now you're talking. Now Minnesota's at home. Listen, no one's ever come back from 3-0 before. And if you're the Celtics, you want this. I mean, how far do you want this thing to go if you're the Celtics?
Not very far.
You want them to have more time off?
Yes, I want that to be relatively even. I don't want the Celtics to have 9 or 10 days off and this series goes 7 games and that team have like a day or two and stay in rhythm. We've seen that. We've seen the benefits of that. So, no, I don't want that at all.
All right. So you think that it's better that the team is fresh, but than it is that they they get beat down a little bit more?
Yeah, I wait.
So you want them to be...
I'm trying to decipher what just happened there.
Well, listen, I was very clear. You want the team to be... You would rather the team be fresh than have them be worn out. So, for instance, you want a team that's coming off a long layoff like you are.
Yes.
But you don't believe that a team going through the battles and a team getting physical and going through that physicality and coming into another 7-game series is a detriment to them. Having the time off is worse.
Yeah. Well,
go ahead.
No. I want what Fred just laid out, and I want it to be Dallas. I want it to be Kyrie playing the Celtics, and I want them to have to win it in 7. Now, will they have some momentum? Maybe. I've always thought that, game to game and especially series to series momentum is largely not a thing. Like, you get momentum in games, but when you have a couple days off in between games, there's no momentum anymore. And if you get beat up and roughed up throughout a 7-game series, give me that Dallas team that has had to go 7 to beat Minnesota. Have them on 1 or 2 days, or I guess it would be 2 days rest probably, and have them coming in here and then have to play the Celtics in Game 1 of the NBA Finals. Give me that.
I think there's something to be said about staying in a routine. However, I mean, if Dallas goes 7 games and then it's just another day or 2 off, and then they play the Celtics, it'd be like the regular season. They just keep going.
The Celtics
on a certain
should
schedule. It's unusual to get 9 or 10 days off like this. Very unusual, obviously. I want Dallas too, by the way. I want to see the Celtics beat Kyrie for a championship.
You shouldn't need that, though. The Celtics, especially if they have Porzingis back, they shouldn't need any kind of extra advantage to beat Dallas. They shouldn't need them the playing field level by the same number of days off or anything else.
All right. Well, this will be something we can talk about for many, many days. As
plenty of time.
A week from tomorrow is when everything kicks off. I'll be in wonderful Long Island, New York.
Hofstra, right?
Broadcasting from Hofstra University.
Cool.
The Friday morning following. All right, there's no commercials here, just the headlines. When we come back, is it possible a triple Rugged Double Bear?
WBCFM 81 bus from the Town Fair Tire Studio, the home of the Bruins, Patriots.
Rhythm gets all out of sorts. And then we're back on AM radio. Like it was 1940. All right, Hardy, I'm so excited by this. I know the concept, but I don't know the execution. You tell me.
Well, Fred, we've learned many things on this show over the years. We've learned about bears. We've learned about rugged double bears. Our friend Zach clued us into what dolphins are all about, cubs. There's gold stars. There's lollipops. There's all kinds of things going on in the community. And we've heard mention of the rugged double bear. Could there be such thing as even a triple bear? Well, let's find out.
Cub-a-dub-a-doo. Look like a bear.
Bears got the best of me. Bears on my fantasy. Bears into what I like. We do it all night, all right.
A rugged double bear.
Bears got the best of me. Bears on my fantasy. Bears into what I like. We do it all night, all right.
Cub-a-dub-a-doo.
Whoa. That's a real song.
Yeah.
You did not write or record that song.
That is an actual song.
That is a man.
Cub-a-dub-a-doo. Look like a bear.
Bears got the best of me. Bears on my fantasy.
Is there a video for this?
Bears into what I like.
There is.
All night, all right.
A rugged double bear.
A dude chasing bears around. Shirtless dudes running around. He's just chasing them all around.
Oh, so
town.
he's chasing like
he loves
like
the bears,
like
yeah.
human bears.
Yes.
Like, oh my God! Good. How has this never been found before? I'm calling laziness of past members.
A
of the show.
rugged double bear.
How is this? So there, and is he like a hairless guy, like chasing around the big bears? All right. So if you don't know, in the gay community, the bears are all the rage. What is a bear? A bear is like a husky man, generally a beard, facial hair, body hair, and they are often the inspiration for very poor songs. But nonetheless, all right, Hardy. So we know what a bear is now.
Yes, and
a rugged double bear.
Thank you, guys.
Which I've been called before
about
by
that.
Kevin
So we have a double bear, maybe even if we have time, Fred, a triple bear story, starting with something that went very, very wrong at a family cookout gathering when they tried to eat some bear meat. That is number one for you there, Fred.
This is not a Jeffrey Dahmer situation. You're talking about bears, the bears of the woods.
We'll find out.
And finally, in the United States, we're in South Dakota, a 9-member family reunion.
What is this, International Space Station broadcasting?
Yeah, it's from the ISS, and they do their own little closed circuit news feed for the scientists and astronauts on board.
Meanwhile, in the United States of America.
Meanwhile, back on the ground.
And finally, in the United States.
What is Cub-a-dub-a-doo?
Cub-a-dub-a-doo.
Oh, to be gay. To be gay in the summer.
So much fun. They have so much more fun than we do.
You remember when we sent Nick and Adolfo to Bear Week?
Yes, I do, actually.
Nick was jazzed up about the whole thing. I got to
Cub-a-dub-a-doo. Look like a bear.
Bears got the best of me. Bears on my fantasy. Bears into what I like. We do it all night, all right.
Yeah.
And it's just the guy chasing hairy dudes.
Going around town.
It's all like the guy from Parks and Recreation. Swanson. It's
Cub-a-dub-a-doo.
It's just chasing Ron Swanson all around. Bears got the what fun? You know, that's fun. No one's getting judged there.
No.
That guy just chasing bears around, and they're like, "Tee-hee, don't catch me." I would imagine that's what's happening. Because he's a cub, probably.
Look like a bear.
Bears got the best of me. Bears on my fantasy. Bears into what I like. We do it all night, all right.
A rugged double bear.
Bears got the best of me. Bears on my fantasy. Bears into what I like. We do it all night, all right.
Cub-a-dub-a-doo.
It's like, find me the gayest bass line of all time. He went to the studio and he's like, "Hey, Rick," and he's like, "What?" He's like, "Grab that bass, lay down something gay."
Cubba-dubba-doo.
How have we gone this long without knowing this song is around? All right, very good.
I want Zoe to put this on his pool party playlist for the summer.
You know Zolak would listen to it forever, and then when he found out what it was about, he'd be like, "Jesus,
Artie!
you guys pulled one over on me. I was playing that for everyone."
I think actually Zoe goes the other way on this. He sent me a video last night just randomly after I missed one of his calls. It was a Village People video because he and I have had the conversation many times. He had Village People albums growing up. I had them, and neither one of our fathers would what you would describe as being tolerant about a lot of things. But our dads heard these Village People albums in the house and let us play the music and dance and sing along, and they said not a word.
I had a friend who was in Can't Stop the Music.
What?
Jimmy Barron.
Oh,
featured
yeah.
in Can't Stop the Music.
And what role did he play?
He was just a manhole cover.
Hold on, let me look up.
Look up his IMDb.
I'm going to look up the term manhole cover to see what that means.
I was just trying to sort my way through that myself.
The construction worker guy was a manhole inspector.
Oh.
And Jimmy was the manhole.
Sure.
All right.
That's a joke from Norm Macdonald, ladies and gentlemen, that I stole. All right, here we go.
And finally, in the United States, where in South Dakota, a 9-member family reunion caused a roundworm outbreak, forcing the U.S. Center for Disease Control and Prevention to step in. It all started when the family members ate kebabs of black bear meat, and instead of leftovers, they went home with parasitic worms in their bodies. Our final report explains how this reunion party went horribly wrong.
You know where you won't get worms?
Cubba-dubba-doo.
No worms here.
Look like a bear.
Just snakes.
All night, all right.
Cubba-dubba-doo.
A rugged double bear.
Wouldn't that be funny if the Tampa station was simulcasting us and it's just all talk about hairy gays?
What are they? Who are they ripping out now? What are they talking bad about? Tom Brady again? They're talking about Robert Kraft. They're talking about the Bruins who got knocked out.
Cubba-dubba-doo.
No.
No.
Well, we're
it's summer.
talking about Bears. We are talking
You
about Bruins.
lose, big guy.
When the sun comes out, the shirts come off, and Provincetown comes alive, baby. And you can't take that away from us. Cubba-dubba-doo. All right. Now, that was the single bear.
Okay.
Now here we go with the rugged double bear, which I have been called by the guy from Machine.
Right. We've showed you how brazen burglars are getting lately, and it seems that would include bears, too.
All right, it'll steal your hearts.
Cubba-dubba-doo.
Just take place in the
Look
United
like a
States.
bear.
They'll steal your heart.
Yeah.
I mean, they'll get the best of you.
Cubba-dubba-doo.
Never play three.
Look like a bear.
Never play three-card Marty against a bear because they'll get the best of you every time. They've been known to hide aces in their leather vest. I'm just pissed we've never had this, that I've gone this long without knowing this song existed. And Mike says it took a lot of digging, which is,
Yeah.
That's
Fred, I feel like he'd be kind of a groundhog.
Yeah, you can.
That's, by the way, no compliment. That's no compliment, by the way. Groundhog is like needy, we found out.
We've showed you how brazen burglars are getting lately, and it seems that would include bears, too. This guy smelled pork chops, so he scaled the outside of a house and snuck into the upstairs window.
Cubba-dubba-doo.
Cubba-dubba.
He wasn't a Jewish bear.
No.
He was.
Yeah.
He was not keeping kosher.
If he was, he wasn't kosher. That's
unless all rules are off on Bear Week. I don't understand if that happens. Can you imagine if there was like a hungry bear and he was like coming in from like the beach like on Bear Week and he smells
Cubba-dubba-doo.
there's like a pie on the windowsill and he like floats up to it to refuel.
What is that? What is that clawing at the window out there?
A rugged double bear.
He uses his like leather harness and unfurls it and throws it against the window and climbs up. He's like Inspector Gadget bear.
Call him the Bear Burglar.
Huh?
A rugged double bear.
The Bear Burglar. I
Nope.
don't need to.
Call him the Bear Burglar.
There's a bear!
Watch as a bear claws his way into the second-story window. Dinner is on the table, and he smells it.
Cubba-dubba-doo. Look like a bear.
All right, very good. Here we go.
Pork chops.
I feel bad for his house, Mom.
And here's the Colorado homeowner, Ryan McFarland. And here's the Colorado homeowner,
A rugged double bear.
Everything becomes a double entendre. Gay people are brilliant. Like everything is on the table.
McFarland, who thankfully was at work when the home invader showed up.
He helped himself to the pork chops that I had out on the counter for dinner that night. And when he was done with that, he went in the pantry and had some snacks out of the pantry.
He really made.
Can you imagine if you came in and like Gus and his friends were all like sitting around like eating, and then you opened up the pantry and there was more? Hi! Surprise! Cubba-dubba-doo! Guys, you scoot. Get out of here. You're making a mess. We're not making a mess. We put everything in the dishwasher. Cubba-dubba-doo. Cubba-dubba-doo. I wonder if the ranger is trying to find him. Like, oh, you, Yogi, you've got in our picnic baskets again. Cubba-dubba-doo.
I don't know if you should go down to that hole, Yogi.
Cubba-dubba-doo.
Himself at home, didn't he?
I have to say he was a very respectful house guest as far as bears go.
That is my experience. Very.
A rugged double bear.
Cubba-dubba-doo.
Look like a bear.
For the rest of your lives, this song will be in your head. I don't care if you live until the end of the day or if you live for another 80 years. This song is going to be in your head.
Double bear.
This song will be in your head until the day that you are no longer on this earth. Well, Mike Lockhart, this is like finding the Ark of the Covenant. You have found the greatest song ever recorded.
Well, he worked at it. He unearthed a lot of stuff to get to this.
That exceeded all my expectations, Mike Lockhart. You found the greatest song in the history of all time. And now, whenever a story about a bear appears, we have an excuse to play it again. Mike Gorman is more of a silver fox. He will be joining us next. at Toucher and Hardy. Mike Gorman is the voice of the Boston Celtics forever and ever. He is the man who the broadcast table is named for and will be for all of our days. He works for NBC Sports Boston. He joins us on the Volkswagen Dealers Expert Hotline. Mr. Gorman, hello, sir.
I'm here, barely awake, but I'm here.
Why? Were you up late last night?
Yeah, well, I couldn't bear you playing that song again.
Oh, God.
Oh, Mike. That's going to be in your head for the rest of your life.
I know it's going to be in my head for the rest of my life. That's why I couldn't bear it. But anyway, let's move on.
All right, because you went to go. All right, yeah, there you have it. All right, Mike.
I did say I played and watched that whole game, though. You're right.
Yeah, so we were talking about it earlier.
Mm-hmm.
If you're the Celtics and you're going to be sitting, first of all, don't you think it's ridiculous that the finals don't start until Thursday, regardless of what happens?
I mean, when should they start? Earlier than this, or
no? The NBA finals, like say Dallas would have won last night, they still would have had to sit around until a week from tomorrow to start. That seems odd.
I think they had to set the date of the finals, so they had to set that up because of all the crap that they want to bring in and the airways thing they want to take over and bring trucks in, and they got to know where they're going. They can't wait until a day before. I mean, those dates are out for when the World Series is going to be played. When the NBA championship was going to be played. They were out a month ago. You could find those.
Right, but do you think it's in the best interest of the sport to have that much downtime between series?
No, I don't think it's in the best interest. I think people go away and they don't come back unless there's some real hook there. I mean, there's a real hook with Dallas and beating Kyrie. And I think there's a pretty good hook with Minneapolis, too, because the Ant-Man's so every time he touches the ball, you're just taking off and do something spectacular. So either way, I think it's a pretty good series for the Celtics to get involved in.
In terms of who it might benefit, Wallach was kind of on the side of, well, he thinks it would actually be beneficial to either the Mavericks or Minnesota to have fewer days off in between the end of their series and the start of the finals. I guess you could make that argument. I would rather have either one of those teams get beat up in a 7-game series and have more questions about their team, regardless of coming out on top at the end. Give me the team that's more rested. I'll take my chances against a team who might have some momentum, because I don't think
more staying in rhythm.
I don't think, but I don't think the rhythm or certainly the momentum carries over from one series to the next.
Yeah, I'm with you on that point. I don't think it does either. And I think the Celtics were forced to play at a pace that they didn't really want to play at, even though they publicly said that they was okay with it. Indiana made them run a lot more than they wanted to, and they were a tired bunch of guys in that final game. You can see it late in the game, especially. So I think the benefit goes to the Celtics in this particular case, because I think they could use a couple of days off. And then have time to come back and sharpen up some skills. I think I heard Joe talking about giving probably Sunday or Monday off, and then get back in business Tuesday today. They got a week to do this, and they'll have no excuses about anything. Everybody's going to be healthy as healthy as they're ever going to be, and they got to go play. I would rather see them play Minneapolis, Minnesota, whatever they call themselves, the T-Wolves. I'd rather go see them and then go see Kyrie and Luka there, because I just think those two guys are really good. I mean, that's like having two great closers in baseball. They didn't do it last night, but you don't want to come down to a 3-point game with 5 minutes to go and have those two guys out there with no foul trouble. Especially Luka, he just kind of goes where he wants to go. I don't know if you guys caught it. He's a big dude. I mean, he doesn't think he's playing in the barroom league. He just is. The other day, Hubie Brown was on here, and he said people talk about this guy like he's a 6'1" point guard. He's like 6'7". He weighs about 250, and he just kind of pushes people around on the court. And he can push Celtics around. Unfortunately, he showed that the last couple of years we played them. So, I would rather see Minneapolis make a big comeback here and win a 7th game on Sunday and have to go out and play on Thursday.
Yeah, that's the thing about Doncic, is that he's got such a unique game because it's so below the rim, but he's huge, he's a professional wrestler, and we all see the long threes, but then he bodies guys for that fadeaway. So he's a very unique way of scoring. Like, it's not how other guys in the league seem to do it at his size. Because there's been people talking about, there has been, have you heard this, John? There's people talking about, is Doncic, Kyrie the best backcourt ever?
Yes, I've heard that argument.
Because
Yes.
Doncic is
I don't think
technically
it's
a
right. I
point
don't think
guard.
it is, but
no.
I've
But
heard the
that's
argument.
a conversation. That's how unique a tandem it is.
Yeah, but no, I say no to that. But yes, I understand what you're saying. I just think he's that guy. I don't know whether you guys had a chance to play any like post-college basketball where you play in a league where guys play from anywhere from 21 years old to about 50 years old. But there was always that one guy you'd walk in, you'd look over the other side of the bench, and he was 6'4", 6'5", which would be huge in any kind of league like that. And always weigh about 260. And you say, oh, well, he won't know how to play. And then you go out there, and he just really knows how to play the game. And that's what Luka does. He passes up shots in the lane to hit guys behind the three-point line. He really plays. I can see why they give him the ball all the time because he's looking to get rid of it all the time. Unlike some guys we know who get the ball and go to the basket all the time.
Considering how things ended here with Kyrie, I mean, I want Dallas to come here and I want the Celtics to beat Kyrie to win the NBA title. Now, on the flip side of that, it would be horrible if Kyrie beat the Celtics for the title, but I don't think that's going to happen.
Exactly. Yeah, I don't know if I want to take that chance. I don't know if I want to take that chance.
I mean, but I want to see that. You know,
I think every Celtic fan, every loyal Celtic fan out there wants to see Celtics dump on Kyrie and have him turn the ball over at every critical time and 2 minutes left in the game, or miss shots, or have shots blocked. Rather, that's what they'd rather see. But everybody feels that way, John. But why invite him to the party at all? If you have a chance to not have him or Luka there. Again, the Ant-Man's fun to watch. The big guy certainly shot the ball really well last night. He won the game for them once it was 3 late. But I'd still rather play them than playing Dallas. We haven't had a lot of luck against Dallas in the last 2 years.
Yeah, I've watched Luka Doncic hit threes, and you've seen it, to beat the Celtics at the last moment. But ultimately, I think, honestly, Minnesota poses a bigger threat. I don't think Dallas is as good a team, regardless of where we are in this series. Maybe they match up better, maybe because they have the 2 better closers, but I don't want Minnesota here. I think top to bottom, they have a better roster and are more versatile. I'd much rather play Dallas.
Well, they made some good moves late in the year, and Carson was a good pickup. And the other kid was Lively. Kid who got hurt.
Yes, Derek Lively.
Yeah, he's a good player too. So I don't know. Those 2 guys, we look at our 2 guys and say, well, they have the potential to give us like 75 or 80 points a night. So don't the other 2. So then it becomes a battle of the benches. Now, if Porzingis is playing, it's a whole different story because then you really have Celtics really have a strong advantage when you go through the roster. But if for some reason he isn't playing by then, it's just inside guys are going to be tested because the kid they picked up, terrible with these names, but the kid they picked up from Washington who blocked the shot the other night and had a big dunk for Dallas. What's his name?
I know the play you're talking about.
I mean, John should know, but I mean, since he's not helping,
I was trying to figure out who he was talking about.
I mean, John just kind of letting us all twist in the wind here. I mean, instead of coming out.
Big kid from Dallas. He had the big dunk.
Daniel Gafford, that guy?
Yeah, that guy.
Yeah.
Thanks, Wallach.
No problem.
You could have said Daniel Gafford 2 minutes ago.
I like watching you twist in the wind.
All right. Well, Mike Gorman, so, Kyrie Irving has been this excellent version of himself this year by all accounts. He's been all magnanimous. He's, he seems to get along with Doncic and lets Doncic kind of be the alpha on the court. But we know his history in Boston. You've mentioned it a couple times. Do you think that how much you think playing in Boston is going to bother Kyrie, if at all?
I don't think it'll bother him at all.
Really? Interesting.
No, I don't think it will. He's such a good player when he's on the court. I mean, obviously his off-court stuff is so tiresome, but on the court he is such a good player. He always makes the right basketball play. He can get to the basket whenever he wants to. It seems I guess if you follow them around, the Dallas people tell me he's on the court 3-4 hours before every game out there, just dreaming up these little flip shots that he's going to use during the course of the game, and then inevitably he'll use 1 or 2 of them and make them work. I don't want to screw with him. I just shouldn't have him watching on TV while we're playing Minnesota.
You don't think
on Minneapolis?
Because the crowd's going to be tough on him. There's the history here, and he's been known to snap before. But you think because of his greatness in that it's the finals that none of that he's kind of going to be above all that.
Well, I don't think he certainly won't give the Celtics any bulletin board material to use. He's never really been one to do that. It's more what he's doing himself than necessarily what he's saying about the opposition.
Right.
And he seems to work on every other year. He goes off in some deep end, and he has his Flat Earth Club and all this other stuff going on, and then he comes back and seems pretty normal for about a year, and you say, oh, okay, he's turned the corner, and then all of a sudden, bingo, he comes out with some other outrageous statement, or goes down some other road. He just has multiple personalities, it seems. But again, on the basketball court, when he's out there, he is any discussion you have with 10 players on the court, no matter who they are, in Boston and Dallas, he's right there as who's the best player on the court right now. And he's right in that discussion. So why I won't screw with that. And
he's also maybe one of the best ball handlers of all time.
He's got a great handle, for sure.
Yeah.
He's got a great handle, yeah.
Yeah.
And that enables him, I'm amazed how these guys, it's like for years, last couple of years anyway, they've suddenly decided, guards have decided to take the ball to the basket. I mean, guys go into layups more than I've ever seen in the past, and somehow get it through all these hands and bodies and everything around them and get up off the glass and they get layups out of it. So Kyrie is the master at that, and he'll test the inside defense of the Celtics if that ends up to be part of the matchup.
I think that ends up being the biggest takeaway and the biggest point from this, Mike, is say what you will about his personality and whether or not he's, morphing into this, that, or the other. At any given moment, when you're talking about the best players on the court, and as we've seen in a lot of these series, the team with the best player tends to win. He's in the discussion as to who the best player is, and counting on him or somehow thinking that he's going to turn into an emotional puddle just because he's back in Boston, I don't think that's a lot to hang your hat on.
Yeah, I don't think he cares about that at all. I mean, that's more a creation of the media. He just wants to come and play basketball and spread his sage around the court or whatever he does before.
Yeah, that's fun. Yeah.
And that's kind of fun if you're a writer to pick on. But again, he marches to the beat of his own drum. He can be charming. I mean, we've all seen that part of him. I mean, he can really snow you if he feels like it, or he'll just won't even talk to you. I mean, I've been on elevators with him, and he doesn't even talk to you. So won't even acknowledge you're there. So you just kind of go, okay.
And the players love him, like Jaylen Brown and Tatum love him. Yeah,
yeah, because he's all about that. He's the anti-media guy. I mean, it allows, if he's on your team, you don't have to worry about being controversial or anything else. He'll take care of all that for you. Chances are it's going to be them. I'd be really surprised if suddenly they lost 3 in a row to lose the series. But I think they lose on Thursday night back in Minneapolis. And then it'll be up to winning Game 6.
And then in 2 weeks we start the whole NBA Finals, and when it will be training.
We have the draft, and we have the summer league, and then we're going to play some bunch from Canada or something, and then the season will start again.
Absolutely.
That's very quietly been the what Adam Silver has done with the league. He's made the league more than a 6-month proposition. It's now about 8 or 9 months, and it'll probably go to 12 once they start throwing the Olympic team out there and everything else.
Yeah, well, that's the NFL.
You can always find you can always find live basketball on TV.
Yeah,
somewhere.
Yep. And then they wonder why guys get hurt because they're playing all year round. All right.
Yeah.
Michael Gorman, you're enjoying yourself. You're staying up late.
I am. Yeah, I'm ready to. I'm not off yet. I'm not off until the season's over. Once the season is over, boy, I'm the guy over in the corner there with the retired shirt on.
Start having Mai Tais at 8 a.m.
Good for you.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, I don't know about Mai Tais, but I'll be playing a lot of golf. I'm looking out the window right now. I think you guys know I live on a lake, and I can see some people out there fishing out of boats right now. I can't put any motors on the lake because it's too small, so it's real quiet here all the time. This is why I quit. This is why I quit.
Yep. Absolutely. And you're going to be in town for the final games?
Yeah, I'll do the interview with Joe for the pregame show each game that they play.
Oh, okay.
Unless we're on the road. I don't think I'm not going on the road. I think Hazel Scal's not going on the road. I don't think. I think Abby's the only one who's going to go out. And then if there is a game 5 or a game 6 that the Celtics could win in Dallas, I think we go for that game. Because you want to have the deal with all your TV guys when the Celtics win.
Right.
But for games 1, 2, 3, we won't be any part of.
All right.
I mean, don't get me wrong. They do a really good pregame, halftime, postgame show.
Yeah, NBC Sports. Yeah, Boston. Celtics.
Yeah, you got it. Thank you for that plug.
Yeah, so NBC Sports Boston. It's good to know. So Mike's going to be part of the pregame coverage.
Yep.
And if you are in town, Mike, and you would like to play golf, I would love to play golf with you. Let me know.
Ooh, all right.
All right.
All right. You got it, buddy.
All right, cool. Let me know.
All right.
All right, we'll talk to you soon.
Okay.
Wait, what about Wallach?
What about me?
He wants to beat us up on the golf course.
You want Wallach to come out? Wallach can come out.
Thanks, guys.
I got to pay for him though.
That's lovely.
I mean,
Thank you.
I'm getting, and then I got to carry him. So that's the whole thing.
Mike, I appreciate the sentiment. Thank you.
I mean, thank you for that charity. We appreciate
It appears that's all you're going to get out of this sentiment, too. But, yeah,
exactly. Like, you knew no one was going to invite him, so you had to take the time.
I mean, it sounds like you need a fourth, but you know what? I'll just go F myself. Hey, have a good one, Mike. Talk to you later.
Hey, if I live in, where I live in, down by Danbury, Connecticut, over the line there. 2 hours and 45 minutes to drive here. You guys pack up some morning after you've done the show. Come on down. Be my guest at this club. We'll cook out afterwards at this little backyard I have out here. It looks out on the lake. And
wow.
So this is the irony. I am the one guy in this group that would absolutely drive 3 hours to go play golf, and I'm the one guy who didn't get invited. But it's okay.
You're invited.
Okay.
You're invited.
All right, thanks. I'll be there. It'll probably be a twosome, though. Fred's not doing that.
Well,
There's no chance.
A guy that I'm friends with just texted me and said that we're invited to play the country club. So take that.
Ooh.
Wow.
My friend Nick just said, he goes, I'll take you guys out to TCC. Love that guy, meaning you, Mike Gorman, not you, John Wallach.
Oh.
So, Mike, if you want to play the country club, now the stakes have been raised.
Wow, how about that?
Yeah, okay.
All
Let me
right.
tell you a quick country club story. Quick, do you have time?
Yeah, you got all the time you need.
Okay. I'm out in the putting green of the trying to go out to play the country club about a year or two ago. And I'm the only one out there, and I'm making just hitting putts. And suddenly this guy comes out, and he drops a couple balls down, and he starts hitting them. But he's looking at me all the time. And finally comes up to me and says, "Are you Mike Gorman?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Oh, geez, I loved you when you were at the Big East. I mean, man, that was the best. Patrick Ewing and Chris Bowen and Pearl Washington, and he knew every player on it." He goes on for about 2 or 3 minutes about the Big East. And I said, "Well, it's really nice to remember all that." He said, "Yeah, I really do. By the way, what are you doing with yourself these days?"
Oh, Jesus. It's like he got hit in the head and has been out for the last 30 years.
That's fantastic.
You're like, well, a man's been to the moon. Do you know that Berlin Wall's not around anymore?
Yeah, I know. I didn't know what to say.
There's a thing called the internet that was just invented. It was weird. It was quite a time to be alive. There's satellites and everything else. Oh, that's awesome.
I remember that line. What are you doing with yourself these days? Oh, nothing. Hanging around. Hoping the Big East comes back.
It's like going up to Fred. It's like, I really loved your work when you were interning for Mitch Albom in 1996. What are you doing now?
Oh, I was good back then. Fresh-faced.
Yeah.
Free of controversy.
Yeah.
All right, Mike Gorman.
Back in the mid-'80s when the Celtics were really poor, people would come up to me on the street all the time and say, "You used to be Mike Gorman, weren't you?" I used to be.
Yeah. Well, people turn their back at professional athletes here in Boston. It's not a town that enjoys professional athletics. So I can see how they would have left when the Seton Hall game stopped being on. All right, Mike Gorman, thank you so much for the time, sir. We love talking to you. We'll talk to you soon.
All right, we will make the sportsman happen, too.
Yes,
Nice.
yes.
Absolutely.
We absolutely will.
All right.
Thanks,
Okay.
Mike.
See you,
All
Mike.
right. See ya.
All right, take it easy. The great Mike Gorman.
I would drive down to Danbury, Connecticut with you, Hardy. I'd go.
Great.
Oh, wow. That's effing cold. That's what that was.
Don't you
Wow.
have some LPG amateur affair to go to?
Oh, that's
down
right.
there?
Cromwell, Connecticut. When does that happen?
You know what? You guys can all stink off because the guys from the Travelers Championship are going to be here at 10:30 this morning after our post-show meeting.
Oh,
And I'm not
enjoy
going
that.
to introduce any of you.
Oh, that's terrible.
I'm going to have – wait a second. So you mean I have to go home and you're going to stay here talking to the bigwigs of the Travelers Championship?
Yeah, we're going to record our interview today.
For what?
For the Sports Hub Golf Club.
Of course.
And when does that air?
Christmas morning at 2 a.m.
All right. All right. Listen, the very controversial golf show. These Travelers guys, you don't want to get on the wrong side. You'll end up on some
You're not
industry
going to be on
thing.
either one of their side. You're not going to meet them. Go home.
Okay.
Well, I'm not dressed appropriately to meet them anyway.
You can say that again.
I mean, I don't even have full shoes on.
I know.
I don't-
Hardy's got the golf pullover
Yeah,
on.
he's got his
ready.
FootJoy thing, and that's his
Yeah.
sponsor. That's who gives him all the free clothes.
Sure.
We know why he's got the golf show. He's got the golf show to get free things, and I don't blame him. But now it's a curse because now he doesn't need the free things anymore. So now he's roped into this dumb golf show, and he's got to talk to the Travelers guys.
How long has this golf show been on the air?
You're so late. Shut up, Wallach. Dan O'Brien's going to stroke out back there. Don't ask any more questions.
Okay.
Look what time it is.
We're good.
I apologize.
We're
to
good.
the
No, you
stroke
got all the time you want.
I knew that set Dan off when you told Gorman you got all the time in the world. I'm like, oh God.
Oh, I love hearing Mike tell stories. I really do.
Hardy at 985sportshub.com.
Thank you, Fred.
You okay, Dan?
All right.
You all right?
We'll be back in just a moment here at the headlines. Kathleen Hanna from Bikini Kill autobiography, Rebel Girl, As I Walk the Dog.
Yeah.
Very. She's married to Adam Horovitz now.
Okay.
But I haven't gotten to that part of the book yet. Did you know Bikini Kill when they were a band?
Nah, not really.
Yeah, not a feminist, are you? Some of us stand alone.
Well, I listened to pretty much L7 and nothing else.
Oh, big influence on Bikini Kill.
So you tell me if I'm a feminist.
You know what L7 did at Lollapalooza? The woman took out the and threw it at the crowd.
Oh yeah. One of the.
Do you know what is? Can you do the math in your head?
No.
L7 all female band.
Yeah.
Woman took something out and threw it at the crowd. Don't say out loud, but in your brain, just tell me when you figure out what I'm saying.
I got it.
You got it?
Yes, it was the 3-year copper IUD.
Okay.
She pried it out of her arm.
Is that where the IUD goes?
I don't know. I know where an IOU goes in my pocket from this guy on the golf course.
Keep receipts.
Yeah, well, we have fun here. Toucher and Hardy. We're brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more with FanDuel, and you'll believe me, they don't send you IOUs. I'll tell you twice. So it's interesting. Gorman kind of brushed aside.
I'm sorry. I was just double checking the anatomy of the IUD, not in the arm. Go ahead.
No, that's inserted in the cervix, I believe. Am I right or am I wrong?
I just.
No, an IUD is a birth control method that I believe is inserted
on
in
the money,
cervix.
Fred.
Right? Yeah. It goes,
right, you are.
Yeah, it goes in the cervix. It's manually placed in the cervix. This is all stuff they teach in middle school.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, I mean, I would want them to. I would want. I'm reading the Kathleen Hanna book. I want free birth control for all.
Right, and you want open discussion about it.
Yes, and I also want what L7 through to the audience. I want that available for free in low-income communities. In fact, that's a big pet project of mine. But you don't know about it because I don't get on the air and start screaming and yelling about how philanthropic I am and what a hero to women I am.
One of the women from L7 was very mean to me.
Because you're a woman hater.
If you can imagine. No, they had some like young girl that was supposed to go up on stage and like do something with the band. And it was my job as like, first year guy at the radio station to like babysit this 10-year-old kid in the 5 minutes between they brought her to the side of the stage and before they wanted to have her come out. So this little kid was like nervous about coming out on the stage. And they're like, all right, let's bring our friend Tina out here, Tina. And that's like, I'm like, okay. And I start walking her out there. And she goes, no, sweetie, you come out here on your own. You don't need that man to help you. And I'm thinking, actually, she literally needed my help to climb the stairs on this rickety-ass stage that you're up here on and to stand here because she didn't want to do this. But no, go ahead. Make me out to be some kind of a misogynist because I was just doing my job and standing here for a minute. Just big meanie.
It seems like that would be a bold leap to take by L7. That it almost was set up for them to insult you in some way, shape, or form.
Nah, it's all has been revealed.
It seems a little
30
convenient.
years later, it all makes sense.
I mean, in all fairness to L7, it does seem, and I'm not saying it's wrong, but I'm saying that it seems a little convenient that the guy from the radio station had to help the girl up on stage,
and they knew,
and they were like, you don't need that man to help you, as if like you were desperately trying to get on stage at the L7 concert.
That bitch, she set me up.
Oh,
boy, you're in big trouble for that. Huge.
But this Kathleen Hanna book, she had a very hard upbringing. But some of us are devouring feminist literature, and some of us are, upsetting L7, and that's the way that it goes. John, you heard Mike Gorman? He thinks that Kyrie Irving is above what happened in Boston.
I watched him the last time he came in with Brooklyn for the playoffs, and the Celtics swept them. It was 2 years ago, first round. Kyrie went nuts in the first game at the Garden. The fans got on him in game number 2, and as I remember correctly, he was not much of a factor in the rest of the series. So, yeah, I'm sure that he's in a great place mentally, but the question is, the way Kyrie's personality is, how long is he going to stay there?
And it is funny, and it is probably just because there's so much time between games, but I heard Felger and Maz talk about it, and I thought it was a good point, and it's that, that aggressiveness in the Miami series and kind of the fighting back, that, if Kyrie goes on some like anti-Boston rant and, is physical, that Tatum and Brown are definitely not taking the side of this city. I mean, they're taking the side of Kyrie Irving.
Yeah, I would agree.
Which is probably childish and like immature and kind of like losery for me to think about. But in this world where we're devoting our careers and all our time to these matchups, the idea that that's the case bothers me in a way that I'm not proud of. Like, it kind of bugs me. Like, if you made your fortune here, like, this is a crowd that 41 nights a year and the playoffs goes and like screams your name and idolizes you and everywhere you go. And I would imagine their dealings with the public are far, far more positive than they are negative. I don't doubt that there are here and there a negative thing or two, but for the most part, I guess being a multimillionaire in Boston and being on the basketball team, I guess would be good. And it's just like when it came down to it, like if Kyrie Irving starts running his mouth, like it's going to be your team Kyrie.
This is a very high risk, high reward thing for me, because I really want them to face Kyrie Irving. But if he comes here and all of this stuff starts, then we could spin in all sorts of different directions that we didn't see coming. So yeah, I see where this can go on a lot of different levels. Not just on the basketball court.
Remember when Tatum told the crowd to shut up when they were booing Kyrie?
Yes.
Like that doesn't. I mean, that I don't like that. Like, and whatever it says about me, I'm like a 4-year-old. Whatever, I don't like it. Like I think that when you're at home, I mean, we talk to Cedric Maxwell every Friday. Like Cedric Maxwell, like he still hates dudes on the Lakers. Like he hates them for real, not playing around. Does not like them.
I've seen
Says
it.
it to his face. Yep. Like wants to fight him. Like maybe not wants to fight him as much anymore, but legit does not like them because they played for the Lakers and he hated them. That I like that, man. I don't like when there's like, shush, the crowd. No, you're yelling. You're yelling at my friend. Like, stop yelling at my friend. No. Win the game. I don't care what you do in the offseason, but in the game, the crowd's on your side.
You can go to Aruba in a month. You can double date, bring your families down to Aruba in a couple of months. But for now, at least try and maintain the illusion that you're on the opposite team.
All right, very good. When we come back, there is a list that we will explore and you will want to hear that has musical accompaniment. We'll be back in just a moment.
You're listening to Toucher and Hardy on the Sports Hub.
When you choose Blue Moon, everything becomes brighter. Every sip of beige.
Brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more with FanDuel. You can watch our show on YouTube. Search 98.5 The Sports Hub on YouTube and subscribe. I remember I had this Soundgarden album when I was a kid, and I tried desperately to like it, and I couldn't like it.
It's from Louder Than Love?
I'd Louder Than Love. Sub Pop, Louder Than Love. And I couldn't get into it. I couldn't get into any of those Seattle bands until...
Turn up, there!
Until they got more successful. Then I obviously really liked Soundgarden, and I liked Alice in Chains. I was never much of a Nirvana fan. But I did enjoy those bands. But I remember in my room listening to Louder Than Love, trying to like it. I would do that. I would do those exercises. I would desperately try to like things, and my brain wouldn't allow me.
I liked Louder Than Love. To me, Bad Motorfinger, that's the album. That's the one that I'll still put on and listen to, but I'll listen to Super Unknown and Down on the Upside. To me, Soundgarden is that's the high water mark band, and probably Super Unknown is the high water mark album for grunge. I don't think it'd have gone any better than that.
And that leads us to this list that you've uncovered.
Okay, so grunge, I argue, is the last great movement in rock and roll. I mean, you had different eras of rock and roll.
Well, there's the Bear movement.
Cover double do. Look like a bear.
I mean, you don't think that there's some scene going on where this is going on in the clubs?
If I promise you we'll do an entire 5 minutes on just that song without any edits or anything, can we do the post grunge thing? If I promise you that later we'll play that song virtually uninterrupted.
Tomorrow I want to play that song uninterrupted.
Okay. All right.
Okay, I'll behave now.
There hasn't been a movement in music, though, at least in rock music, after grunge. Grunge is the last one.
A mainstream music, you're probably right, because EDM and stuff has come out post grunge. But I would argue that since Generation X, there hasn't been. If you look at the 1980s New York City, so let's split the difference and say early 80s New York City. You had the CBGB's punk scene leading into an art scene, leading into hip hop, which was becoming something. You had graffiti. You had new forms of dance. You had new ways of playing music in terms of DJing. So I would say and then maybe but what have you had since then? Auto-tune? So there really hasn't been no one's really been pushing music forward in a crazy way.
Nothing with staying power. I mean, if it started with Chuck Berry, which I argue it did, then you got into some more, I guess, elaborate bands in the 60s. Then you got into prog rock, you got into heavy metal, then there was punk rock and techno, bands like Ministry and Nine Inch Nails. And then after grunge came and went, what have we had? New metal? I mean, it's nothing with any staying power. So grunge was 30 years ago now, and there hasn't been a great movement in rock and roll since that. That may have been the last one. So they tried to put together a list of 50 songs from what Consequence called the post-grunge era. And they said 2 waves. It was right after Kurt Cobain died, and then another wave in the late 90s where bands, I don't want to name any of them, began to dominate rock radio. And that some people call this second wave that they're calling post-grunge butt rock. So these are the top 50.
It killed rock radio. Butt rock killed rock radio.
The top 50 butt rock songs. I don't agree with all of these.
Are they supposed to be good, or they're based on popularity? Or what they mean to the movement?
Based, I think, on both.
Popularity and what they meant to the movement?
All of those things.
Okay, so it's not like a critic sitting down and going, these are good songs.
No. They're just what dominated rock radio in the post-grunge or butt rock era.
Okay, so all right, very easy here.
All right, so let's start with I'll just make you guess here. There was a Canadian band who had a song that was so huge, they went on the Tonight Show and performed it twice, 13 months apart. When the song was brand new, then it took off like wildfire, and it stayed on the charts for so long, they went back over a year later and performed the same song again.
Hey, Mo! Hey, Mo!
It was the Jump in the Saddle band, but some members were from Canada. They are from Illinois.
Yeah, I was technically an American band. They don't qualify.
Well, we're all American.
Yeah.
North American. Okay. So is it? It's either Crash Test Dummies with the song. Is it the Bare Naked Ladies?
Nope.
Oh. I played this so much.
But Finger 11 Paralyzer got played so much for so long. They went on the Tonight Show twice.
If you put 5 band photos in front of me, and I probably played, because I did Living Loud from 7 to midnight on an alternative station, I probably played that 1,000,000 times. If you put 5 bands in front of me and put a gun to my head and told me which band was Finger 11, I might have a bullet in my head because I honestly couldn't tell you what they looked like or anything about them. And I guarantee you I broadcast from one of their shows. That's how memorable they were. They weren't even bad enough to suck.
There is another band favored by Be Real.
Be Real sent a joke. It was funny, but I can't tell it. Go ahead.
It came out of Agora Hills, California in 1994, right at the start of post-grunge, led by singer Doug Robb. Do you know who this band is? Another huge, huge butt rock post-grunge song.
Butt rock, so it's not Fuel.
You played this 1,000,000 times.
It's not Fuel.
It's not Fuel.
And, well, because I didn't get into radio till 99. So 94, this is going to be past me. You tell me. Is this the Who?
That's the Who. That's the Stank.
That was 94?
1994 is when
Tried
they
to tell
formed.
you. Tried to tell you.
That's when they formed.
You know, the reason. Oh, that changed my life.
Oh, Fred.
It showed me that you can
Your
sing
life.
Everyone knows Dan loves Hoobastank, but Hoobastank, the reason showed me that you didn't have to be able to sing to have a powerful hit ballad. That an engineer would just go, you know what? You suck at singing. Just keep it the way it is. And the reason is you. And we played it like everyone just got together and went, all right, this is good.
In at number 17, first super group that I've seen on this list.
Oh, okay.
And a song, Wallach, that was embraced by the Boston Bruins.
That was what by the
What year?
Embraced by the Boston Bruins.
Is that Audio Slave?
Yes. What's the name
Tell
of
me,
the song?
Cochise.
Yes.
Very good, Fred.
That's
Tom Morello?
Yep, you got that right.
Well,
he's like a really nice guy, but then you're like, I am really bored.
he's a really smart, nice guy, but I've never had a long conversation with him.
He's a Harvard guy. when he did like the Riddler or Watchtower Boy or whatever the
Night Watchman?
The Night Watchman.
Not to be confused with the Atlas Underground.
When he did the Night Watchman, he would like have lunch with you, and so you would be like, okay, cool, I'm gonna have lunch with Tom Morello, and there was a lot of talk of Dungeons and Dragons and Noam Chomsky, a little over my head.
Wow. All right, let's get to the top 5
Dude,
here.
I'm down with Chomsky.
Fred, you already mentioned one of these bands. They are considered a post-grunge butt rock band. Another one of these bands that, how do they make it down to rock radio, especially when their 2 biggest songs were called something that no one, when people would call up to request this song in particular, they didn't know what to call it because I don't think they ever say the title of the song in the song itself.
Is it the Crash Test Dummies?
No, it is not.
All right, I want to take this call. Peter, go ahead.
Hey, I just wonder if it's at all a coincidence that as you guys approached your 40s, you thought that music started to get bad.
No way. That never happens with people. How dare you insinuate that?
Yeah,
everything from my youth is the best.
Well, what are the best rock bands that have come out since, let's say, 2010?
Oh God! I mean, maybe like they're more like indie-ish, but like Future Islands, maybe, or I don't know. You're putting me on the spot, so
That's fine.
But okay,
I'm not trying to prove you wrong because what you say is correct, and that's what's been happening for generations. Believe me, when I was growing up, the Woodstock was the greatest thing that ever happened, and I look back and it was terrible. But I'm sorry. I'm sorry. All right. So anyway, hippies are off limits. I mean, they're real downtrodden with their BMWs. But Peter, what is like a scene, like a cultural movement, like that I would be unaware of? Because like I bring up like rap.
I mean, EDM for sure is like a huge scene that I know sounds like just computer beat boot noises to you, but like it's a huge thing.
But I did say EDM. when we were doing the
Okay,
beginning of this bit. I did say
Okay.
EDM was something that's like a culture that I'm
and
familiar
that's
with.
like
yeah.
EDM has like 50 subgenres within that,
Yeah,
just like
sure.
hip hop would or anything. Like,
Yeah. So I will hand that to you, and then but I did, in fairness, Peter did mention EDM, so I'm not that old.
I remember being
How
told,
dare you?
I know.
How dare you?
I remember being told that breakbeat was going to be the next big movement in like rock popular music. You know, bands like the Prodigy, Chemical Brothers, they were going to, blow things wide open. And there's some good stuff.
Everyone
in there,
except for Jay Dilla, whose Donuts was one of the great albums of all time, but yet Fatboy Slim was being played because he was white. I will tell you this: if you ask my kids what their favorite form of music was, both of them would say drill. They would both say drill. Bobby Shmurda.
All right. Well, I'm not going to bore you with this list much longer, but the band is Fuel. In at number 5.
Okay, this is my question for you. Why are Fuel had the most played song on 99X in Atlanta. 99X was probably the second most successful alternative station in the country next to K-Rock LA. When K-Rock LA was actually a cool station. This is the song that we played more than any other song in like the 15-year
What's the name of the song?
Hemorrhage in my hand.
Oh, very good.
Parentheses in my hands.
Very
You
good.
don't think I know? I played that song in the 8 years I was at 99X, or 7 years I was at 99X. I probably played that song, let's not exaggerate, 306, 9, 12, over 1,000 times.
Yeah, I believe that.
And so, why are they not why are they not a big deal? Like, people are making a big deal about Creed and like Limp Bizkit and even like Fastball Tour and stuff like that. Like Sugar Ray, still people talk about. Fuel was 1,000 times bigger than those bands in alternative rock radio.
Well, they also had the first song on this list, which was the song Shimmer, and that was the first one that we played in Vegas on a station that played Ministry, Prodigy, Limp Bizkit, Korn before we stopped playing Limp Bizkit. But like really like hard alternative stuff, and then we would have a Fuel song every hour. She calls me from the phone just when I was low,
feeling shut out
stable. I'm like, why are we playing this? Why?
That was a Shimmer. That was a huge song for years, for decades. Fuel is weird. Like, they're almost invisible. Like, Three Doors Down is playing. Like, Fuel are way bigger than Three Doors Down.
All right,
Adam 12 says, what about the early 2000s NYC scene? Strokes, Interpol, yes. Meet Me in the Bathroom, a book that covers that. How inventive was that, though? It was almost a callback to the 70s.
Strokes is completely derivative
Of like television.
Yep.
Yeah, so go ahead.
All right. Another band that is out touring right now with only the lead singer. Everybody else has left him. Their second album was their breakthrough album. Had a huge crossover song on it. First album was called Mental Jewelry. Didn't do much.
I do not like this band at all.
Tours by himself with hired guns.
And
All right.
they hire a step stool so he can reach the second shelf of the bus.
Two biggest bands we haven't mentioned yet are the two biggest on this list. Another Canadian band in at number 2 with their biggest song, the biggest, arguably the biggest butt rock band that everybody makes fun of. And it's not Limp Bizkit. It's not new metal.
No, because it's Canadian.
Yep.
Hinder?
No, not Hinder.
A Canadian band.
Canadian band.
Not Our Lady Peace.
And tried to ingratiate themselves to the hard rock people because they released a collaboration they did after Dimebag Darrell died because they were friends with Dimebag from Pantera.
This man searched for me at a festival in a golf cart to beat me up. Chad Kroger from Nickelback wanted to kick my ass, and he had festival people driving him around trying to find me. And then I interviewed him like 6 months later, and he was so wasted he didn't remember who I was. He was so dumb that I interviewed him and made fun of him the whole interview, but he didn't get it. And then like 10 minutes later, he like went, oh, and then wanted to go kick my ass because he realized I'd been tooling on him the whole time. Boy, I was a dick.
I interviewed
Well,
Chad
if you think
Kroger
I'm a
once.
dick now,
He was a really nice guy. Why were you such a dick to him?
because I'm a dick.
Yeah, you kind of are.
Yeah, I am. On the radio more than in real life.
All right, number one song of the post-grunge era, of the butt rock era. Now, this is the band that people still unapologetically like, Scott Zolak. And we talked with Scott about this band last week.
Creed.
I think, yeah. It's got to be Creed.
Yeah, Creed never bothered me.
Creed. Yeah.
Yeah, Creed never bothered me. Creed were
Hold on a second.
we're just pedal to the metal, just we're Creed.
Scott Stapp never bothered you?
I made fun of him all the time. Ball, it's game day. The things that happen in the games. They're all grass and trails with legs and hands and fingers and things like we braid hawks and shin.
Yeah. Too? Yeah.
Kid Rock not doing so great.
Well, he's getting attention, though, and I think that's what he wants.
Yeah.
All right, that's it, boys.
All right, thank you. And tomorrow we will indeed play the whole Bear song as a reward for me for doing that segment. We get to play the whole Bear song, where the guy in the video is surrounded by bears. They fall all over him, and he comes out in bikini shorts.
Mm-hmm.
That's what the bears do to him. They get him down and they remove his clothing and put.
A rugged double bear.
All right, we'll do that.
Cubba dubba doo.
Man. We're not doing it now.
No,
we can do the
no,
whole
tomorrow.
song. We can do the whole song tomorrow.
Look like a bear.
They're having so much fun. You know how there was that "Hey guys, hey" that got really boring. I just want just people to call and go like, "Bears got the best of me."
Well, can people call?
Or they could go
Cubba-dubba-doo.
Yeah, they could. I want the new thing to be Cubba. I'm going to go back on Twitter. I swear I won't do anything wrong, and I'll put @Cubba-dubba-doo.
No, you can't.
But I want people to be able to directly, anonymously tell me to go kill myself.
I don't know that we can even ask for it. It has to happen organically. But I think it would be wonderful if people, when they call the radio, called this show from now on, said, "Hey guys, good morning, Cubba-dubba-doo."
Cubba-dubba-doo.
I think it'd be great.
I'm going to make a Twitter account @Cubba-dubba-doo so people know where to go. You're so mean and so you have no soul. I'm going to kill you.
Cubba-dubba-doo.
You know, you're such an a-hole. You have no decorum. I'm going to pee on your grave. What? Hippies are great. They represent everything. They've changed the world for the better. I'm going to strangle you with my hands and leave your kids orphans.
Didn't that guy apologize to you?
Well, I said
it took some doing. Eventually, yes.
He got scared and then he apologized.
Yeah, he got scared.
Okay.
I had nothing else to do. Look, I'm not a good person. I understand. All right, we'll be back.
Fred, I feel like he'd be kind of a groundhog.
Which just means a real jerk. All right, we'll be back. We'll be back.
Toucher and Hardy, 98.5 The Sports Hub.
in every single game, and he, I think, single-handedly provided the plays that won 2 of the games. Jalen had not his best game in Game 3.
Fair.
Tatum, as we know, was not very good in Game 2. So each of those guys had off nights in the series. I don't feel like Drew Holiday did.
He's the reason you're in the spot you're in. The addition of Drew Holiday is allowing this team to sort of excel in other ways.
Dulac and Bertrand, weekday mornings at 10 on the Sports Hub. We're back with Toucher and Hardy on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
You know, I got an idea for a bit. The email bit. We should do the email bit. It's a great idea. Let's do the email bit.
Hey, everybody. We are Toucher and Hardy. What were you two talking about when I came in the room?
It's on you if you want to bring it up. It's up to you.
I'm not bringing it up.
Okay. We'll tell you off air.
Was it about me?
No.
Just another article in another industry magazine article.
Oh.
Trust me, it's not worth it.
Was it about someone I know?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, I know what it is. Was it an interview?
Yes.
Was it in a magazine that starts with a B?
Yes.
How many times did he lie?
Many.
And how much is it pissing off Hardy because he has no idea?
Oh, no.
No, it's a different one.
It's a different guy.
It's a different guy.
Oh,
It's a
okay.
different guy.
All right.
Different guy.
All right, very good. All right, here we go.
I'll start.
You go ahead.
Hardy, best wishes on your upcoming interview with Andy Bissett of the Travelers, who will be here 1 hour from now. Andy Bissett, Chief Administrative Officer of the Travelers. One of my favorite listens of the year on the 98.5 The Sports Hub Golf Club. So Fred, go screw. The Travelers has a top player field, including the infamous Scotty Scheffler, pending his legal troubles, and recent PGA champ winner Xander Schauffele, who you, Hardy, won money on, and Kendra didn't even place a bet on. Keep it going, guys. That's from Colin.
I have one here from Kevin.
Oh, wait. Hold on a second.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And now we react to the email.
Oh, I didn't know there was reaction to it. Okay.
I can't believe you got an email insulting me.
Yeah, right?
And that you would read it on the air.
Yeah.
I mean, Jesus, Hardy. I mean, you must have dug for that one. I can't wait till the Travelers guys are here because you know what I heard? They like full frontal nudity.
Cool.
And I'm here to give it to them.
They're not going to be thrown off by your base displays of look at me, look at me.
They're going to keep it. You know what I'm going to do is I'm just going to bring up the racial history of Augusta and compare it to what they're doing.
You know what? There's no problems at TPC River Highlands where the Travelers Championship will be contested.
Yeah.
So don't worry
I'm
about
going
it.
to bring a bunch of High Plains drifters to the Highlands. Bunch of bums. It's going to be like Billy Madison or Happy Gilmore.
Go ahead, Wallach. Read your email.
Hey, guys. Hey, I heard a lot of words during the Mike Gorman interview that just occurred, but I retain nothing since it's only been the Cubba-Dubba-Doo Bear that lives ubiquitously in my brain and being. My life has changed from this day on. I can never go back to before the Cubba-Dubba-Doo Bear song.
Cubba-Dubba-Doo.
Sincerely, Kevin.
Yes, this is from our friend Tim. Good morning, Fred. Great show today. Just listen to the Bud Rock segment, and holy moly, you had to be a DJ in the worst music period ever. I'm a 43-year-old man that grew up in Boston, the punk and hardcore scene, and completely forgot about how bad music was on traditional radio. I don't know how you did your job knowing the music that you actually enjoy, but good Lord, that was a bad time in music. It is interesting because when I got into the alternative radio station, I had been working at what would now be considered a cool station, but I had no idea at the time, an Americana country station in the middle of nowhere. And when I went to work at 99X, I had no idea, like, who Creed were. We played Jimmy's Chicken Shack. Like, these were all bands I had. There were no heritage bands, really, that I had heard of, besides, like, U2. So I'm like, when we played Creed, I was like, Jesus, this is popular? And one of the first things I did was introduce them in front of 100,000 people. And I realized this is a very powerful band for absolutely no reason.
I got an email here just a few minutes ago, again, after that segment. This is from Jim Gilbert. Said, hey, Hardy, we got dropped from Roadrunner Records because of Nickelback. Many bands did. Their music sucks, but that's not why I hate them. Jim Gilbert, bassist from the Sheila Divine, winners of the 1999 WBCN Rock and Roll Rumble.
The Sheila Divine is what my friend has is his wife Sheila's name in his phone. Sheila Divine, you are part of someone's life more than you'll ever know. An intimate part of someone's life.
Yeah.
Jeremy says Ed Kowalczyk from Live left the band in 2009 to be a solo act, and when that didn't work, he rejoined the band in 2016 and then claimed the rights to all the songs and kicked all the other members out of the band and refused to pay them for any of the songs that they helped write. He contacted some members of the band to tour with him, but never had them go out on tour with him by bringing in session musicians, and by doing so didn't have to pay the original members anything for being able to use the band's name. Ed Kowalczyk, so if you're supporting him, you're supporting a backstabber.
Mm.
You know?
There were a couple of bands in that post-grunge list, Days of the New and Tantric. Similar situation there. Travis Meeks, apparently was a lunatic or is a lunatic, and he left and kept the name Days of the New. The rest of the guys from Days of the New had to go off and form Tantric because Travis continued to tour around with all new people.
But isn't
called
Tantric
himself
the guy
Days of
who's
the New.
all on Twitter, yelling about politics and to overthrow the government, but not in a revolutionary way, but in a Proud Boys thing? What band is the guy who's all Proud Boys and yells at everyone on Twitter?
I don't know. Dan's talking to me.
Sorry, I must have missed that one. Sorry.
Yeah, Dan's talking to my ear about somebody who interned at BCN that was in the band Tantric.
Yes.
I don't remember that at all.
Okay.
Who? Did he intern for Parento? Because I heard that was a whole bag of worms.
A rugged double beer.
I heard that was no fun. Ask Hamilton
Depends
about
on
that.
your perspective.
Yeah, Hamilton's like, hey, what you doing?
Yeah.
I don't like this.
Mark Hamilton has a couple of Parento stories. Should have him on talk about
He
it.
does have a lot of them. Trapped. Thank you, Be Real. Trapped is the guy.
There it is.
He gets on Twitter and yells at everyone about being the worst.
Yeah.
Are your kids on Twitter?
Yes. No. Sorry.
Yeah,
No,
they're on
no, no.
Instagram, right?
Yes.
Are your kids on Twitter? You have the oldest one out of all of us. Is your daughter on Twitter?
I think she has an account, but she doesn't do anything. She sees everything on Instagram.
Because Instagram is what my kids have. Instagram and TikTok. I'm wondering who's on Twitter anymore. I've been able to exist without looking at Twitter, or having a Twitter account. I have a Twitter account, but it's I guess a fake one.
It's a lurker.
It's just so I can yell at Lifshats and make fun of them, make them feel bad on Twitter. But I got to figure Twitter's going away.
We've been saying that for a couple of years now, and it's still
But doesn't
going.
it lose a lot of money?
I don't think it does anymore after he fired most of the staff.
Yeah, well,
it probably didn't cost anything to run.
Because all I know is every time I go on Twitter, it's just this. It's a chaos of people that need to seek a higher power. It's something in their lives.
Here's an email from
power greater than all of us.
Here's an email from Bob Walton. Fred, I can't believe what you said about my... No, different Bob Walton. It says, I agree that grunge era was the last truly great era of rock and roll, but let's not pretend there have not been some great bands to come out post Y2K. Arcade Fire, Jack White, White Stripes.
The White Stripes were a fantastic live band.
They were really good. The Killers were just headline Boston Calling Sunday night.
The Killers exist because of that whole arena situation where they sing Mr. Brightside, and good for them.
They've got a real following though, and I still cannot wrap my head around the Killers. They were allegedly a local band in Vegas when I was there, and I never heard of them. And my friends who were all in the local scene didn't know from the Killers, but that's where apparently they were from. Kings of Leon, Silver Sun Pickups, and the Strokes all came out post Limp Bizkit.
Yeah. Did you hear about how the Black Keys were all set to tour arenas? And have you seen the seating charts for the Black Keys? They had to say maybe not so fast.
No, they have decided to reconfigure the tour to play smaller, more intimate venues.
Yeah, because there was a show they were playing in Maryland that might have sold out of 20,000 legit 100 tickets.
Oof.
And that's got to be, and I don't wish that on anyone. That's got to be tough.
That sucks.
Yeah, and they seem like decent guys.
Yeah.
Brendan, go ahead. They were on Always Sunny. Go ahead, Brendan.
Hey, good morning, guys.
Hey.
The Killers actually, they started as an Oasis cover band, which I find interesting. But you guys did a What's in the Stack a few years ago, and you asked the guy what his favorite band was. and he said the lead singer from Savage Garden.
Yes.
And I thought it was the most random and outrageous favorite band to have.
Yes, Savage Garden, which I didn't know at the time what their song was, but Savage Garden had one song. Is it Truly Madly Deeply? Is that the song by Savage Garden?
I couldn't tell you, but every time I hear it randomly in a hotel lobby or a casino, I always think of that. What's in this?
By the way, Savage Garden's Darren Hayes filed for divorce from Richard Cullen after 17 years of marriage back in 2023.
Oh, no.
You know who loved Savage Garden?
Who?
Aaron Hernandez.
Back, and mercifully we will end all this. It will all end, and we can get back to our lawsuit against that station in Tampa for what they did to poor Nicholas. I hope they know that they're on the. Nick played me some audio of them, and they're backpedaling like crazy. But it's too late. The damage is done. The lawyers are the wheels of justice are in motion. And next time, you won't put your laptop all willy-nilly up to the microphone because you can't play audio through a board. You'll think twice. That used to be Ron Bennington's station. How dare you? The great Ron Bennington. And look at you desecrating it. I bet you're hourly employees. I bet you don't even have a contract. And now they're going to take all that money from you. It's a shame, really. iHeart's in enough trouble. They're making mistakes all over the place, catastrophic ones. And now they're going to have to pay for your foibles. It's a shame with those tattoos. You're a scofflaw is what you are. All right, we'll be back. Here are the headlines.
Sports Hub headlines.
The Celtics will host Game 1 of the NBA Finals a week from tomorrow night, but their opponent is still to be determined. Last night, Minnesota beat Dallas 105-100. They are on the board.
sue the Pat and Aaron show from WDAE in Tampa, and and it's going to be a fight because they have 1.8 thousand followers on the Facebook. So they're coming with an army. But I hope that you're prepared, iHeart, that I want those 1.8 thousand followers. I'm having Nicholas ask for that. You have those two shock jocks running around trying to disrupt our show, and it's all fun and games, and then you break a federal law. Now it's not a joking matter. Now this is not just a matter of opinion or opining. You've crossed a very firm legal line, and apologies will not fix it.
You've soiled the airwaves.
I mean, these legal reasons, they're here for a reason, and poor Nicholas, without his knowledge, was put on your show, and I listened to the segment, and I got to say, you really hit a home run with it, the way that you awkwardly went blaming the other guy for not knowing what to do with him. I mean,
they blamed Andy?
They blamed Andy, the producer.
Andy's the only guy I like.
And Andy goes like, what do you want me to do? And they're like, oh, well, it's not your fault. It's just your first time. They got Nick on the phone, and they're like, hey.
Get alone.
Listen, it's collateral damage, but this is what happens. This is major market radio. I mean, you break federal laws, you're going to get it's all fun and games. And an apology will not work. I'm telling you right now. Your apology will not work. It's not a joke. If you tell me it's a joke, I'm not listening. I'm not listening to anything you say.
Oh, I see what you're doing. A little goose in the gander. There it is.
I'm going to fulfill this legally. I can't wait to see you in court. In one of those circus courts down in Tampa with jugglers and strippers. Go ahead.
All right.
And alligators.
North Korea played a little joke on South Korea. You know what they did? They sent some balloons across the heavily fortified border, weather balloons essentially, and strapped to them were bags of garbage and excrement.
Yes! 99 brown balloons floating in the summer sky. A gift from above today. Let's all roll around in it. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do. It's filled with do-do-do-do. Oh, who left a stupid balloon here? Ooh.
North Korea called the hundreds of balloons gifts of sincerity, prompting an angry response from Seoul, which said the act was base and dangerous.
And then the German porn industry said, "Can't take that from you."
Hey, no.
And then the Japanese porn industry said, for some reason, there's octopus tentacles in these things.
Photographs released by the South Korean military showed inflated...
What's funny is both of you know what I'm talking about.
Showed inflated
Japanese
balloons.
Pornography.
I'm so ashamed
has
right
these,
now.
just has weird.
Well, they incorporate cuisine.
I don't octopus tentacles. In
yes.
I'm so...
And you both knew it.
I don't feel really good about myself right now.
And you both knew it.
Well,
it's not good.
And it's not because you're traveling.
No, it's because it's a delicacy, and they're just combining.
No, it's not food. It's the live octopus, not like real, like cartoonish octopus. All right, go ahead. So, how'd they explain this away? Don't get me started on politics.
Other images
this
show...
show in Tampa's our North Korea. They're worse than North Korea, really.
Other images show trash strewn about collapsed balloons with the word excrement written on a bag.
Hey, you stole my T-shirt idea.
How many have they floated? 260 have been detected.
eBay.com. North Korea, please.
Carrying animal feces and rubbish.
No, animal feces.
Yeah. That's cheating.
They said
knock 75% off the top.
This was retaliation for ongoing propaganda, an ongoing propaganda campaign, and they do this back and forth. South Korea sends balloons the other way. North Korea sends balloons the other way. But normally they're loaded with pamphlets or sometimes medicine that they send over to North Korea.
Oh, that's just like trying to you're like look at me, I'm sending medicine. I'm such a good guy.
They also send balloons filled with CDs with K-pop music and DVDs of dramatic television series so that North Koreans can enjoy them.
You know what I wish? That they could get over their differences and that we'd realize that deep down we're all just humans on this marble for a short run. And why spend it hating each other? And let's you're in the middle of a lawsuit with iHeartMedia.
In which case, all I can say is...
Cubba-dubba-doo.
Cubba-dubba-doo.
Something else fell from the sky in New Hampshire, a skydiver.
Oh, boy.
But he didn't make it to the ground. He was stuck 60 feet up in a tree.
Yeah, so people, a lot of people, they skydive. Have you guys ever skydived?
Once. One time I
You
did.
have done it?
Yes, I did a tandem skydive in Michigan. It was my college graduation present from my sister.
Was it scary?
Yeah, it was terrifying.
Okay, was this...
Never again.
I'm glad that you did it because now I don't have to pontificate. I can ask you who actually did it.
Okay.
Was the scariest part falling freely, or was it when they had opened the parachute and you realized nothing you could do could get you to the earth faster?
100% the opening of the parachute and hanging in
Yeah.
that contraption and 15 minutes to float to the ground.
That's the part that that's the main reason I wouldn't do it, because I think if I'm correct, I would imagine that like when you can't even think when you're free falling, and that if the parachute didn't open, that there's so little time that you would ultimately just accept what was going to happen. I have to imagine that's what happens.
So I'll tell you the two things. Number one, I thought we were going up in a plane, and you stand at the door of the plane. 1, 2, 3, Geronimo!
Right.
No, you're sitting cross-legged in the back of a plane that is about the size of a Volkswagen bus.
You
but
probably
with a
just went out
shorter-
of that.
With a shorter roof to it,
Oh,
right?
God.
There are, I think, 6 of us up in there, 3 tandem skydivers. So 6 people total plus the pilot. And when it's your turn, you have to crawl over to the door. And in the aftermath, this is the scariest thing. I started climbing out onto the strut before I was actually strapped to the instructor.
Jesus.
And he pulled me back in the plane. Then he attached everything, and you have to climb out onto the strut of the plane and hang on until he gives you the release. And when you release, you see skydiving in movies and TV. It's like, oh, we're flying and you can soar through the air. No, the sensation is this. You're plummeting like a bullet straight toward the ground, faster than you've ever gone in your life. This is faster than you've ever felt in any car, motorcycle, anything. And you're just going straight toward the ground. You have to remind yourself to breathe because it's 120 mile an hour wind in your face, and you have people hold their breath. And you're like, no, breathe. The guy's telling me breathe. And then you pull the ripcord, and then it's 15 minutes of terror. And then the guy, he loosens the leg straps because you're strapped here, you're strapped at the hips. Without telling me he was going to do it, I thought I had come undone from the harness and I was going to fall out. Sucked.
I had a friend who got super into skydiving, and he had like 2 friends die from skydiving. And then I was like, well, those dudes are pros. Like you're like really pushing like 200, 300 jumps.
Oh, yeah. What do you, okay. Now,
Like something's going to go wrong.
now you're begging for it.
Scott Zolak. Hello.
How you doing?
I'm well. How?
Big sales meeting today at some point here in the building.
Yeah?
That was a fun one, in.
Oh, really?
2:05 plus.
2 hours and 5 minutes to get in here?
It's not here right now. Yeah. All right. I don't know what's going on, but
Everybody back to work today. That's it. Wednesday is the day when most people have to come into the office. People who are working remotely, Wednesday. Everybody
T-Bone.
into the office on Wednesday.
T-Bone's here. Had everybody as his worst drive ever coming here.
Oh, well, that sucks.
Hey, if you're heading to 128, I wouldn't do it.
Well, listen, at least you got the joy of hearing us.
I sure did.
Thank you.
And heard you
Cubba-dubba-doo.
start the show.
Huh? Yeah?
Boy.
Thank you, buddy. I'm a good guy. All right. Everyone have a great day. That'll do it for us. Enjoy Zolak and Bertrand.
Oh, yeah.
Bye.
Stay tuned for more Toucher and Hardy on the Sports Hub. The Peterson School has been a leader in teaching the trades for nearly 80 years and